Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara bringing you exclusive live coverage of Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey tonight and all season long as the Hat Tricks get their first crack at the Columbus River Dragons from the Western Division here on a Friday night at Danbury Arena. So, Jack, an eventful weekend coming up as one of the hottest teams in the FPHL squares off with the Danbury Hat Tricks for the first time this season. The Columbus River Dragons coming into this matchup having won 11 of their last 13. They have been a dynamic team. What are the Hat Tricks to expect from this weekend?
I mean, high-flying action. There's nothing to take for granted against this team. They're hot. They're playing well both at home and on the road. And it's one of the furthest teams in the Federal Hockey League to travel, so it should be exciting to see what they bring to the table in tonight's matchup. And they're right in the thick of things over there in the West, so we have a lot to look forward to over these next two games, Casey. And you have a couple of great goal scorers, point getters. Parker Moskow's been huge for them. MJ Graham. I mean, these guys are explosive. They put up a ton of points, ton of goals, and, you know, this is one of the teams that will contend out of the West. Last
weekend, the squad took home a pair of wins against the Battle Creek Rumblebees, and what was really two of the best games that the Rumblebees have played all season. But Columbus has 3 shutouts over the course of this winning streak, including against some of the best teams in the league, Port Huron, Carolina, Watertown. They've been able to get the job done against every team in the league, and here they are coming into Danbury Arena. Cody Karpinski is going to be in net for them tonight. What do you expect from the man in net for them?
Well, I think Karpinski, I mean, he's had a really, really great couple games with Columbus. The 6-2 record, obviously 2-5-3 goals allowed against. He's been absolutely outstanding since getting moved here with the River Dragons, and I think it's important for them that they found a goaltender that they can kind of lean on. Obviously, Rutledge, kind of a .500 goaltender, didn't push them over the minutia line yet this season. Karpinski comes in. He makes some big saves. He shuts out big teams like Watertown. Obviously, the Carolina shutout is ginormous for their season, and all of a sudden, when you get a hot goaltender, you start to feel very confident about yourself. You shut people out, and then, of course, the goals will start to flow.
Cody Karpinski, as mentioned, since joining the Columbus River Dragons from his earlier squad with the Delaware Thunder, has a 6-2-0 record now with a .253 goals against average and a .936 save percentage. He has been nothing short of spectacular since donning that unique brand of maroon and bright teal, the sort of Arizona Diamondbacks color scheme, and they'll be wearing their road whites tonight. I was hoping that we would get a chance at those sharp-looking thirds.
There's always tomorrow, Casey.
There is always tomorrow. As we wait for the Danbury Hat Tricks to join us here out on the ice, for the Danbury Hat Tricks, starting in goal for them will be Dylan Kelly, who's since rejoining the team is on a personal 5-game winning streak. He really wants to assert himself as the number 1 goaltender because the playoffs are right around the corner. The magic number is at but 1 point for the Danbury Hat Tricks. And eventually we're going to ask, who starts the first round of the playoffs? Is it Tom McGuckin? Is it Dylan Kelly? And you can tell there's a fire in Kelly lately.
Oh, absolutely. You saw the way he reacted not only with his play, but with his demeanor, with his emotion against Delaware last weekend. Obviously, blood was boiling. Fires were ignited in this building, and Dylan Kelly was one of them. He was very feisty behind the net. Even on the bench there on Saturday, he was chirping guys. He was involved in the game. He's a competitor, and you know that from him. He comes back in here, takes a couple games for him to get readjusted to FPHL play. But since then, I think he's on one of the hottest streaks so far that he's been in a Danbury uniform. And you look at both of these goaltenders, Casey, you really are blessed to have this choice to make, whether Tom McGuckin or Dylan Kelly. Both are very different goaltenders, but both have one thing on their mind, and that's winning hockey games.
And the River Dragons will get a crack at Tom McGuckin tomorrow as Billy McCreary, the head coach of the Hat Tricks, goes with a goaltending rotation between his 2 number 1s. We're going to turn you over now for the national anthem and the announcement of the starting lineups. Here's public address announcer Christian Gardecki.
The eliminators of the Hat Tricks are Frank Camarda and Joe Stefanelli. The athletic trainer is Amy Schneider. The assistant coach of the Hat Tricks are Matt Voighty, John Kraminski, and Bill McCreary Sr. And the head coach is Billy McCreary. ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
Back now for Puck Drop of Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara bringing you exclusive live coverage. And we heard from the father of Sam Buck from the Vanishing White Matter Families Foundation having a fundraiser here tonight. And it looks like Sam is going to be dropping a first puck at center ice. We have Nicola Levesque being joined at center ice by MJ Graham for a ceremonial puck drop. Vanishing White Matter, of course, you can look up the Vanishing White Matters Family Foundation, which is a degenerative brain disease, and still fighting for a cure for that horrible disease, and we're so happy to have Sam on hand here for tonight's game.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hat Tricks partnered with one of our sponsors, Coltech Incorporated, and it's really a special night for the entire Buck family as we try to do our part to help fight this really, really bad disease, and it's a really good turnout for their crew, and they raised a lot of money to do this for him tonight. We hope he has a wonderful time.
Well, he's taking in his first Hat Tricks game of the year, so welcome to Danbury Arena. Welcome to the Hat City. He is from Greenwich, Connecticut, so welcome to the Hat City. Now it's time for your starting lineups. First for the visiting Columbus River Dragons. On the blue line, they will have Jacob Gerson alongside the captain, Chase Fallis. On the forward lines, they will have Alla Shapitzin alongside Yanni Lirakos and Vaughn Clouston. In goal, as mentioned before, will be number 33, Cody Karpinski, a 6-3-0 total record, a .291 goals against average, and .927 save percentage, 2 shutouts to his name. One of those losses on this season was to this Danbury Hat Tricks team, allowed 6 goals back in December against the Hat Tricks. Starting out for the Hat Tricks will be their top line of Nicola Levesque, Johnny Ruiz, and Phil Bronner. On the blue line, they will have Steve Brown and Steve Mealy, and in goal, DK, Dylan Kelly. As part of your Ameriprise Financial goaltending matchup, save more with Ameriprise Financial. Dylan Kelly comes in with a stellar 13-4-0 record. Johnny Ruiz takes the puck and is hit hard in open ice. A nice check to start the game by Clouston. And this is a physical Columbus River Dragons team. Hat Tricks skating left to right on your YouTube screen. This is the most penalized team in the FPHL in the Columbus River Dragons, which is quite the accomplishment when you consider how the Elmira Enforcers play, the Delaware Thunder play, and it really is quite surprising.
I was just going to say, we had one of the most penalized series that we've ever seen here this season so far against Delaware, and we might see some more.
Wraps it around, trying to get it down low for Graham. Graham takes a hit from behind from Vlad Gavrik. Now pops out in front. Graham tries to stuff it in on the near side post. It's taken away by the Hat Tricks. Up the left wing comes Corey Anderson. Anderson sends it in deep. Gavrik fields to the near side. Sharp angle try is fought off by Karpinski. Now up the left wing intended, it's swiped away by Bullen Porter. Vlad Gavrik will dump it in and go off for a change for the Danbury Hat Tricks, who are donning their home blacks with orange and white trim. They auctioned off their orange alternates last weekend, so it might be a while before we see those bright orange threads again. Back to the traditional home blacks. Kasich keeps it in, looking for Shinkarik. Hops between his wickets. Now carried up the left wing. Here's C.J. Hayes. Hayes will dump it in, takes a wonky bounce off of those Zamboni doors in the near side corner. It was going one way and bounces all of a sudden back the other way. Kasich carrying it in on the right side. He's met by Leonardson at the blue line. 2 He's met by Leonardson at the blue line. Now taken away, taking a step in is Martin Tuma, taking his first shift since returning from a knee injury. Set up in front for Oliver, goes off his skates. Taken away, and here come the River Dragons in transition. Up the heart of the ice, here's Hayes, dishes to his left. Taken away by Shinkarik. That negates the 3-on-2 as Hayes goes barreling into the boards. 2-on-2 the other way now. Shinkarik drops it back for Shane Morrissey. Morrissey to the net. That's blocked in front. Karpinski will cover up on the near side post. And ooh, Hayes went awkwardly into those boards.
Yeah, that's a dangerous spot. Obviously, the puck takes a weird bounce out of there, and then back the other way. Hayes comes down and goes stumbling in there with an awkward landing. But you look at how fast both of these teams have opened up play. It's back and forth, back and forth. Marty Tuma, fresh off of his injury, comes in, makes a strong play at the blue line. Easton Oliver just unable to handle that pass. Would have been a good shooting attempt for the Hat-Tricks.
Tuma back from injury. Also back in the lineup tonight is Gordy Bonnell, who hasn't played in quite some time, hasn't really dressed in a game since January 11th, as that shot is snatched out of the air by Dylan Kelly, and he holds 2 minutes, 24 seconds gone by here in the first, and we get some jostling in front of the net as Jacob Gerson introduces himself to Nikola Levesque. Levesque found himself in the middle of the physical action last week as he was a marked man as he and Anthony Paisano went at it a couple of times.
Well, the difference between Paisano and Gerson's almost a foot. Gerson only comes in at 5'8", and Levesque was having to worry about looking up to the big man Anthony Paisano last weekend. Not that big of a challenge there. He's probably preferring Gerson.
It was a bit like Rocky Balboa looking up to Thunderlips in Rocky 3. Behind the end line it goes. It'll be taken away and flipped up the left wing. It goes off of the high stick of Johnny Ruiz and will go up into the crowd. And a fan in section 102 will get a souvenir. And we'll see where they put the face-off. I believe this one will come back into Columbus's end.
Yeah, it really depends on where it was touched. And right now I think the linesmen are keeping it in the zone. That's a little strange. I thought it went off of Ruiz's stick.
It did, and Ruiz honestly played that with a high stick, so even if it had come down back into play, he wouldn't have been able to field. Nevertheless, the conversation will be held amongst the officials, and yes, indeed, they will signal it will be to the left of Cody Karpinski, who gives a confused and befuddled shrug.
Yeah, the rest of the players on the ice for Columbus are also perplexed.
Kendall Bolin-Porter with Bonnell to his right, Anderson to his left. Puck is dropped and won by the River Dragons. Scanning back is Shapitzin. Shapitzin plays it towards the blue line, kept in by Listmayer, goes behind the end line. Chasing after it, Shapitzin once more, gets it up the left wing to Liarakos. Taken away by the Hat-Tricks. Bolin-Porter has Anderson in front, looking for him. Anderson takes a whack at it, bouncing in the blue paint, still fighting for it at the far side post, and tumbling down to the ice. Puck eventually will squirt out to Listmayer. Crosses the blue line to Gavrik, takes a step in, shot blocked in front, goes into the far side corner. Listmayer trying to hold it in. He does, uses his long reach, but it will be batted back out by the River Dragons. Bolin-Porter will stymie the puck in the neutral zone and put one River Dragon through the spin cycle. That was Jacob Gerson.
Again, good pressure for the Hat-Tricks in the attacking zone. A bad pass really leads to all those opportunities in front, but their defense did a good job come back together and make a stop.
Gerson hits his alternate captain, MJ Graham, in stride. Graham tries to get it over to Liarakos. Liarakos takes a hard check from Kenny Garrett. Now Easton Oliver. Quick passing up to Shane Morrissey. He's in up ahead on Preston Kugler. Shinkarik will take a swipe at it, and they will say that Shinkarik was a bit too quick over the blue line, so 3 minutes and 40 seconds into the first, we will get a stoppage for an offsides.
Now you see how quickly the Hat-Tricks were able to get out of that rush. Kenny Garrett lays the lumber. Easton Oliver makes a smart play up the half wall, and then it's an easy out for Danbury. That's a clear emphasis so far to start this game. You could tell that Coach McCreary's put that to say, hey guys, let's get out of our defensive zone as quickly as possible. They've done a good job with that so far.
Kugler evades a check from Matthias Kasich and is able to get it over to Jay Krupp on the left side. Krupp flips it up. It'll be settled by Oliver and taken away in the neutral zone. Now here's Bondarenko entering in. Dishes to his right. Shot saved by Kelly. Rebound by Krupp is shanked up into the netting. And we get a stoppage in play.
Well, that's what Columbus needs to do all game long. Bondarenko makes such a nice play in the neutral zone. Finds his pass off an errant Danbury Hat-Trick stick and just takes it back the other way. Good rush there for Columbus. You mentioned how physical they have been this season so far, Casey. How about the speed there through the neutral zone and getting that good shot opportunity? Just a bad shot on the end by Krupp.
In the face-off dot, it will be Cameron Dimmitt going up against Johnny Ruiz. Dimmitt has Lennartson to his left, and to his right, he's got C.J. Hayes. Taken away by the Hat-Tricks. Up they come. Here's Levesque motoring ahead. Looking for the backhand pass in front, too far out of reach for Phil Bronner. Racing after it and picking it up is Kugler. He'll glide ahead. Dishes to his right. Finds Hayes. Hayes spins away from Steve Brown, loses his footing. We've seen a couple of River Dragons having some difficulty adjusting to the ice surface here at Danbury Arena, and well, the ice tends to be slippery.
So Hayes is taking a tumble in the near side and the far side corner of the offensive zone. A lot of snow on his pants.
Well, the Danbury ice has taken many a victim this season because it is a very busy ice surface. As many a high school play here. We had Immaculate High School playing here earlier, and you've got many colleges and minor league teams and the Danbury Colonials and a 3HL team. This is a very busy arena this time of year. You'd be hard-pressed to find a time where this particular ice surface is not being used, as Bullen Porter with a nifty move to get around. He tees up a slap shot that's blocked in front. Bunnell trying to feed Bullen Porter at the far side post. It's taken away. Now Bullen Porter again slides it over to Gavrick, trying to drag the toe, loose out in front. Anderson trying to stuff it home. Net comes off its mooring, and we will get a delayed penalty as Anderson was cross-checked from behind.
I'm trying to get another. I think it's, yeah, it looks like Hayes who might go off for the penalty here, the cross-check. Yeah, it's going to be him. And this all starts, it's actually a nice play. Santa Paulo makes a good shot block and then kicks the puck out to the side. He makes a couple good plays in the defensive zone, but the other defenders are not aware of where the puck is. And then just the scramble there, Corey Anderson, he whiffs on that shot, and that's why it kind of trickles wide and then ends up drawing the penalty. So he'll take that and run, but again, Danbury putting some good pressure so far on the Columbus defense in that far side zone.
It'll be Ruiz out there with Phil Bronner, Gordy Bunnell, Shane Morrissey, and Carter Shinkarik, a five-man forward unit for the power play as the puck trickles through Shinkarik's legs and will go all the way down, rolling. Shane Morrissey will whack it over to Shinkarik, and Shinkarik will direct traffic from the safety of behind his cage. Liarakos is out there with Fallis on the penalty kill, as well as Shapitzin, and trying to enter in. Phil Bronner takes a shot off. Vaughn Clouston will complete the four-man penalty kill unit. Flipped up into the air, and that'll go down the length of the ice. Shinkarik will be back to retrieve. Bunnell will hop off. Kasich hops on. Kasich over to Morrissey, who enters in on the left side, trying to get around Clouston. Kasich brings Clouston down to the ice, is able to get it down low to Levesque. 1:15 to go on the power play, 6 minutes gone by here in the first. Shinkarik at the far side point, crosses the way to Gavrick, down low Morrissey. Morrissey out to the high slot, Shinkarik has a man in front of him, shoots, saved by Karpinski. Rebound set up in front, it goes all the way out to Shinkarik. Gavrick sends it down low for Morrissey, a minute to go on the power play. Gavrick crossing the way, Shinkarik. Quick passing intended for Morrissey. It's chipped over towards the blue line, kept in by the big Vlad Gavrick. Sent in down low. Clouston will retrieve for Columbus, and it'll be one-handed out of the zone. A good play by Jacob Gerson. He'll go off for a change.
You see how quickly Danbury's able to move the puck from the goal line to the blue line and back and forth. Their best chance, however, would have been a Matthias Kasich shot in the slot. He was unaware of the puck coming back towards him. It ended up going to the blue line, stayed in, but that would have been a great shot attempt.
As that low shot is gloved and held by Karpinski. 26 seconds to go in the man advantage. This is the second best penalty kill unit in the league. 84.9% efficiency are the Columbus River Dragons. But then again, the Danbury Hat-Tricks scored 6 power play goals over the course of 3 games against the Carolina Thunderbirds when they were here in town, and they were operating at 91% efficiency heading in. As there's Gavrick with a long shot that goes high and wide off the glass. This is a power play unit that has been highly effective. Out to Gavrick once more, to Kasich in the slot. His shot, he scores! Matthias Kasich with a power play goal. 1-0 Danbury.
And here come the Carrots, and just like the last sequence, Kasich doesn't miss this chance. He gets right into the slot, that bumper position, and it all starts with the blue line passing. Kendall Bolin Porter over across to Vlad Gavrick, and he sets up a beautiful pass, tape to tape for Kasich. And the way he takes this pass is he takes it right in stride, turns and fires it. And it's tough for a goaltender when you're trying to pick up a player as they're moving to then make a reactionary save, because he gets that shot away super quickly. Really good wrister there for Matthias Kasich. That's how dangerous he can be in that spot of the ice, Casey, and he didn't miss.
For Kasich, it is his 14th goal of the season, his 4th power play goal. And Kasich is a very streaky scorer, Jack. You know, we've talked about it before where Kasich can ride a 5-game point streak. He can then go 3 games without getting a point. But Matthias Kasich, of late, he's been bounced between so many different line combinations, and he's been producing over these last couple of games, especially with all of the injuries in and out of the lineup to Gordy Bonnell and to the likes of Casper Dierson, who was a healthy scratch tonight. Number 96 has been a big impact player.
Absolutely. He's been so flexible with whatever Billy McCreary needs him to do, whether he's going to play top line minutes or third line grinding minutes. He plays on the penalty kill. He can play on the power play. He does all of these things great. And you're right, he has some moments in which he takes, you don't want to say days off, but he's just held off the score sheet. You don't see a lot from him offensively. He does a lot of the little things right, and then every once in a while he'll go on a streak and he'll find some good spots in the ice, and he's got an incredible wrist shot. That timing of the release there is very, very impressive, and that's the benefit of this team. We were talking about the return of Gordy Bonnell to the lineup, talking about the return of Steve Mealy, what that's going to mean. The forward depth on this team, especially when guys like Kasich are contributing, it is so deep, and it's almost impossible to find the right combination. That's why Kasich being able to move around like that allows Bill McCreary to have so much freedom.
Lirakos will pitchfork it toward the net. It goes off the side. MJ Graham goes into the corner with Lirakos. There's Gerson now. Shouldered off the puck by Steve Brown. Pops out in front, and Steve Mealy will corral and slide it over to Phil Bronner. Back to Mealy. Mealy, a forward by trade, playing on the blue line tonight, will stop at the circle, has a shooting lane, sends it high and wide. Out to Lirakos. Evades the stick check of Martin Tuma, plays it towards the net, and it'll be settled down by Kelly, and he'll freeze it. And Steve Brown will one-hand Gerson and remove him from the presence of his netminder.
Yeah, Gerson's getting involved in the dirty areas, and I think, Casey, we're going to see a lot from Lirakos tonight. He's played a ton of minutes so far to start this game. It feels like he's out there every other shift, and he's made some great plays in the neutral zone, gotten the puck on net just like that, creates the offensive zone faceoff. I think he can have some valuable time on the ice to just create those offensive rushes.
Shinkarik enters in on the left side. Nifty stick work to try to get around Clouston. 8 minutes gone by here in the first. 1-0 is your score in favor of the hat-trick. Shinkarik looking for the redirection. Karpinski gets a piece of it. Shinkarik goes down, and that will draw a penalty. Shinkarik took a stick up high and loses his bucket. Has to go back to the bench to avoid a penalty. And the puck will be touched up by Columbus, and it will be a cross-check going against the River Dragons. And back to the power play go the hat-tricks.
The last thing you want to do after a team scores like that on the power play is put them right back on. It's going to be Vaughn Clouston who gets called for the cross-check, and I think he's a little adamant as to why the player fell down so quickly. Alternate captain Jake Krupp over there to have some words again. But, hey, the penalty's taken. If you're Danbury, you love that. You got off on the right foot here. You got yourself the 1-goal lead, and now you're right back to that man advantage.
The power play unit that produced the goal will be back out there. Kendall Bolin Porter at the near side point, swiped out of the air. A good play there by MJ Graham. Graham, a former Brewster Bulldog back in the day. For those who remember the state line rivalry between the then Danbury Whalers and the Brewster Bulldogs, as Bolin Porter is being hampered from behind. It'll be touched up by Columbus, and that will be a delayed penalty. It will be an interference call going against Columbus, and it will be a 5-on-3 coming up. Bolin Porter was being harassed from behind, and you can see Ivan Bondarenko pleading his case. Oh, no, excuse me. I believe they'll just deem it an offside. Yeah. I saw the arm raised, and I saw him cross his arms. Excuse me, I was completely mistaken.
I was about to say, the linesman puts his arm up there, and I think the reason why Columbus was upset was because they had the puck.
Yeah,
the linesman
that
blew
was
the
my
offside.
That was my confusion. They didn't blow the whistle until Columbus had possession. Nevertheless, it will be 90 seconds of 5-on-4 time if Dylan Kelly has a man standing right behind him in Lirakos. Interesting play there, as Lirakos didn't really have much room to maneuver.
Kelly didn't seem phased whatsoever that he had a player right behind him.
Well, Kelly certainly has the size advantage on most skaters. He is 6'5". Entering in on the left side is Levesque. He'll stop, cross the way over to Ruiz. Pass behind him. Ruiz blows a tire. And up short-handed come the River Dragons. C.J. Hayes trying to get past Shinkarik. He does. Hayes with a shot. Glove save. Kelly. Terrific play by C.J. Hayes to generate something. He recognized the mismatch. Shinkarik back in his defensive zone.
Yeah, you see the speed there of Hayes. He goes hard, and he's got one move. He knows he's going to try to pull around and go to that far side post, so that's why Kelly's leaning that way. But Shinkarik actually does lift his stick just enough to force him to make that move and go for that second attempt instead of getting the quick shot away. Good save by Kelly.
Half a minute remains in this power play. 10:15 to go in the first period. Hat Tricks looking to add to their lead. They currently have the 1-0 advantage as Karpinski will freeze the puck at the near side post, and the Hat Tricks will get an offensive zone draw. It looks like the same unit will be remaining out for the Danbury Hat Tricks. And, boy, this is a situation, Jack, where you find yourself trailing early. This is the kind of situation where you miss Parker Muscal, who is a scratch as he nurses a minor injury for the River Dragons. It's a one-time shot by Shinkarik, save. Rebound by Bronner is stuffed by Karpinski, and he holds. A terrific glove save in a full split position.
Yeah, very impressive, and the thing that impresses me most is that second chance opportunity from Phil Bronner usually sneaks by you, but Karpinski, he's so low to the ice that there's no holes underneath him. So Bronner's got to lift that, and the way that Karpinski's set up, he's just so big. Makes a really good couple of saves there against a tough out in Phil Bronner, and that's how you win the support of your teammates. I mean, obviously the 6-2 record coming in here to Columbus and performing that way, but making saves like that in a 1-0 game.
Kasich dances around a man. His shot getting a piece of it is Karpinski. Now Bolin Porter, we're back to even strength. Behind the net it goes. Kasich takes a check from behind. Flipped up into the air, chasing after it Shapitsin, trying to force Kendall Bolin Porter back towards the blue line. It'll be taken away by Bondarenko. It'll trickle past the Danbury bench. Graham is in on the forecheck. Kasich will spin away from him. Over to Steve Brown, who has a bit of time and space. Feels Krupp coming down towards him, and he spins away from him. Bondarenko will try to swat it back into the Danbury Hat-Trick zone. Corey Anderson was gliding back towards his bench. Will dump it in deep before he goes off.
Yeah, makes a smart play. Sees the puck at his feet. Just get it deep. He's over the red line. No harm, no foul.
Shinkarik stripped by Clouston. Clouston has Bondarenko to his left, drops it back to Graham. Quick passing intended for Bondarenko, sent back out into the neutral zone by the stick of Vlad Gavrik. Now picking it up and entering in is Tim Santapalo. Dumps it in. Gavrik holds. Will skate behind his net, fakes a leave pass for Shinkarik. Now over to Martin Tuma. We'll see how Tuma is able to move. It was a lower body injury as his pass is taken away. And here's Gerson feeding it over, intended for Lirakos. It hops over his stick. When Lirakos had pay dirt in front of him, he had a point-blank shot attempt at Dylan Kelly waiting for him. Turning around is Fallis, sends it just wide. Lirakos now behind the end line, looking across the way. Out of reach of everybody, Bunnell will be the first to get there. Bunnell has it roll off his stick. Gerson with a man in front again, and Lirakos and Kelly with an active stick to poke it away. Now Morrissey up ahead with Gavrik. Morrissey to the slot, trying to get around one defender and two, and good teamwork there, and Santapalo is able to knock it back out into the neutral zone.
And we had a moment where it seemed like Columbus really didn't have much time or opportunity in the offensive zone. Then they start to find some rhythm, but again, not a lot of shots on goal here in this opening period, just 3 so far in the opening 12 hit minutes.
And offside as Johnny Ruiz frustratedly bats the puck against the boards as he and Shane Morrissey entered in offsides, and we've reached the media timeout. While we have a moment to breathe, we want to remind you to follow the Danbury Hat-Tricks across all social media platforms at Danbury Hat-Tricks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more live game streams such as this one, as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, interviews, highlights, and more. And join our mailing list at danburyhattricks.com. If you join our mailing list, you can learn about upcoming promotions like the one we have tomorrow night, Jack. Preschool and daycare night coming up to get the kiddos out.
Absolutely. You can still sign up online, danburyhattricks.com/daycare. If you're a daycare student, a preschool student, preschool teacher, daycare teacher, guess what? You've got yourself a complimentary ticket to tomorrow's game. Kids get complimentary carrots to throw out onto the ice beforehand.
Which people saw after the first goal here tonight.
Of course. What could be better? If the person closest to center ice actually does win a prize, too.
There you go.
So there's incentive.
And, of course, for more information on all upcoming promotions and giveaways, you can head to danburyhattricks.com/tickets. Cruz Listmeyer will flip it into the offensive zone. 7:40 to go in the period. Ruiz pokes it ahead for himself. He's in behind the end line as well as Nikola Levesque. Out to Bronner between the hash marks. Bronner has no choice but to backhand it down low once more. Does battle with Cameron Dimon in the corner. Dimon and Bronner pushing and shoving, taken away by Ruiz. Out to open space. Low shot saved by Karpinski, and he holds.
You see the open shooting lane there for Ruiz, so his eyes light up. But Karpinski again, strong save, no rebound, even with a couple of tricks in black hovering around him. And that's the benefit with Karpinski, is he's so sure-handed in those situations. Very important for the side. And for Columbus, they need to do a better job of getting themselves out of the defensive end and getting it into the offensive end right now. There hasn't been a whole lot of momentum going their way.
Bunnell spins away from Clouston in the corner. Clouston with a good job of running Bunnell against the wall and brings him down to the ice. Taken away, and up the ice comes Dimmitt. Dimmitt has Leonardson to his right. Will play it ahead. It would be Steve Mealy, the first to retrieve for Danbury. Fans on an exit pass. Dimmitt pounces on the loose puck. Over to Leonardson. Has Hayes lurking in between the hash marks if they can find him. Now Dimmitt once more with a blind pass out to the far side circle. Finds its way to Hayes. Leonardson setting up for the one-time shot. Too many hat tricks around C.J. Hayes, though, and he'll cough up the puck.
You see how they're just clogging the passing lanes. There are no clean passes in that third of the ice. When it's going from white to white, it's just not working right now. Too many Danbury hat tricks in the way.
Well, we saw how Billy McCreary wanted to structure his defensive scheme last weekend, especially against the Delaware Thunder. Clogging the middle was and protecting that house, that pentagon area, as Kasich's long shot is blocked in front. That was a real point of focus for Billy McCreary last weekend, and something that they've improved on over the course of the season. Redirection in front sent wide by Matthias Kasich. Morrissey brought down to the ice from behind as C.J. Hayes ties the stick up, and off to the races he goes. A 3-on-1 developing. He's got Graham with him. Looking across the way for Krupp. Pass was behind him. Now Shinkarik the other way. To his left, Gavrik with a bad angle one-timer, redirected in front by Morrissey, will go up into the netting. And boy, C.J. Hayes with a prime opportunity there. I don't think he recognized that Graham was in front. It was kind of an awkward pass over to Krupp. Krupp was screened by his own man.
Yeah, and it was behind the two skaters as well, so not the best pass. And he had a lane, too, to fit that puck in, and just got to take better care of the puck. For the River Dragons right now, they're getting those rushes. You see how much speed they have getting across the blue line. They're just not quite there yet. And then back the other way, Matthias Kasich, a couple of nice plays in the offensive zone.
Set up in front and fought off by Karpinski as Ruiz got a stick on it. Here's Easton Oliver sending it down low, blocked in front by the legs of Phil Bronner. Bronner with a setup in front intended for Levesque. It's bouncing up into his midsection. Skating away is Santa Paolo. Sent up into the 200 section.
Yep.
And we'll see if that'll be a delay of game penalty.
It is.
Yes,
he
indeed.
threw it straight out. Yeah, Jay Krupp, he'll go off, and that's the tough thing about that. That puck is on edge here, so he's just trying to take a swat at it, knock it off the high glass, and get it out. Instead, because it's bouncing, he gets underneath it, and boom, right into the metal bleacher area, then the overhang in the 200 section, and another power play opportunity here for Danbury. Obviously 1 for 2 so far, Casey. That's where you want to be against a very good penalty-killing team. How about another one?
Well, getting one against Columbus is certainly an accomplishment in of itself, and to have the second-best penalty kill unit when you are the most penalized team in the league, at least you're making up for the fact that you find your way into the box. Here's Kasich between the hash marks, looking to pick a corner and sends it up high. Might have caught a defensive stick. Preston Kugler was in the area.
Yeah, he does a better job there to clog that lane. When Kasich scored in the first power play, there was nobody there, so he had a clear shot at the net. This time he's got to handle the puck a little bit longer, can't get the shot away quickly, allows Kugler to take up some of the shooting lane, and a much easier play.
It'll be Anderson out with Kasich, Levesque, Mealy, and Vlad Gavrik. Sent down the length of the ice is a good job there by Alice Shapitzin. Dylan Kelly will settle it down behind his net. Steve Mealy will pick it up, escape from the left side, and start up ice. Here's Kasich on the left wing. Kasich in with Levesque. Over to Mealy, high slot. Slides it to Gavrik. Has his back to the net, and looks to send it down low. Shapitzin cuts the puck off. Gavrik trying to hold the blue line, cannot. It hops up on him. 1:15 to go in the power play. Here's Mealy. Flips it ahead, tries to settle it down. Levesque looking for Kasich, out of reach, and sent down the length of the ice by Columbus. Racing ahead now is Hayes. Hayes has no look to the net. He'll instead send it back into the neutral zone. Savvy play there by Hayes to kill off some seconds. Over towards Karpinski, and well, that plan backfires, though, as finds its way all the way back towards the blue paint, and what was a nice play by Hayes to get it behind the end line is now a defensive zone faceoff.
Well, Hayes makes the right decision here, kill off some time, but then I think it was Clouston in the neutral zone who keeps sending it backwards. You at that point, just dump it in and make sure you reset your defense. Now you've kind of hurt yourself with the offensive zone draw.
Clouston tries to clear it, held in by the body of Shane Morrissey. Bondarenko with a good job to force him out. Now Bondarenko shorthanded 2-on-1. Bondarenko looks to the net. Blocker save, Kelly. And he reaches up and grabs it with 41 seconds to go in the power play. So Bondarenko with a nice shot, and it was all part of the grand plan. You get a shorthanded odd man rush out of the deal.
Absolutely, and you look at that, and Bondarenko and Graham streaking on 2-on-1. You see, again, the speed through the neutral zone getting in, and a good chance there. Shinkarik plays the pass all the way, allows Kelly to come out, and the blocker save, and then handling the rebound, catching the puck out of the air, important.
Face off to the right of Kelly. It's won by Graham, and he sends it back all the way towards his netminder. Santopalo will chase after it. Santopalo is out there with Edgars Ozelinch, as well as Graham and Bondarenko to complete the penalty kill unit. Ruiz, bouncing puck, finds its way over to Gordy Bonnell, who enters in now on sides, but Bondarenko picks it up, and another rush opportunity shorthanded for Columbus. Bondarenko cuts to his left. Wrist shot, wide. Picked up by Shinkarik. Will think better of the rush as his troops were not yet in position. Now up to Morrissey on the left side, trying to get around Bondarenko. Waning seconds of this power play. Shinkarik with a shot that's blocked in front, and that will do it for 5-on-5. Krupp is out of the box. They look for him in the neutral zone. He fields at the red line. He's stripped by Carter Shinkarik. He'll remain out onto the ice. Bonnell entering in for the hat-tricks. Leaves it for Morrissey. Morrissey run off the puck there by Bondarenko. A good play. Now picking it up and carrying it ahead, Tim Santopalo will lift it up, and the River Dragons will get a change after a successful penalty kill.
Yeah, that was their best one so far in this game. Full 2 minutes. Obviously, the offensive chances help, but that's exactly what you want from your penalty kill. Clog up the neutral zone. Danbury didn't have much possession time. Really nice stuff there for the River Dragons.
Bullen Porter keeping his feet moving, but loses the handle on the puck, and Columbus now will start up ice. Fallis is calling for it out in the neutral zone. They'll go the short way. Now Fallis will receive and dump it in deep. Kelly will stop it behind the net, and Dylan Kelly is very active coming out of his net to play the puck. Skied up into the air, and it will flitter towards the Hat-Tricks logo and back towards the blue line where Preston Kugler will retrieve. Up the right wing, taking a whack at it is Jacob Gerson. Now Kugler crosses the way to Igor Kostyukov, playing his first game as a member of the Columbus River Dragons, joined to the team earlier this week. The River Dragons have been extremely active, adding and subtracting players over the course of the year. A lot of trades being made. One of them made earlier this week was for former Danbury hat-trick Nick DiNicola from the Battle Creek Rumblebees. And DiNicola failed to report and now faces an indefinite suspension. It's a shame. I was almost looking forward to seeing DiNicola back in Danbury, where he made a lot of memories here with the hat-tricks in his short stint.
Absolutely. He played very, very well over the few games that we saw him, and he was just riddled with the upper body injury that had him out extended time, and Danbury parted ways, sent him over to Battle Creek, and then you're right, Casey, 100%. I was looking forward to seeing if Nick DiNicola still had what he had back when he was in black and orange.
Well, I tell you what, he's a Walcott, Connecticut native, as here's Shinkarik breaking in, and Shinkarik is broken up. He's a Walcott, Connecticut kid and got the first hat trick in team history in his first game with the team. I mean, you talk about wanting to make your mark, as here's a setup in front. Glove saved by Kelly. Got it with the heel of his catching glove. A terrific stop on Anton Leonardson.
Leonardson makes a great dart to the net, finds a good little spot, and then gets a nice pass. I think Hayes got the puck to him. He's had a really good start after going to the box for that early penalty. Really like his energy out there on the ice.
Here's Morrissey chipping it up for Shinkarik. Shinkarik bearing down on Shapitzin. Now to the hat-tricks bench where Dimmitt will one-hand it ahead. Picked up by Leonardson, squares to the net. His shot, he scores! Anton Leonardson sneaks one through the 5-hole. We're tied at 1.
Now that's what happens when you put shots on net. Get yourself in a good position. And Leonardson, just coming off of that previous spot right there, he's able to sneak on in. The first time Dylan Kelly got him. This time he sneaks it through the wickets, and you'll know that Kelly would want that one back, and a really good goal there for Columbus. They're going to feel much more positive about this first period now if they can close out the remainder of this period and go to the locker room, tied things up 1-1.
Well, that's a frustrating final minute for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. You had 3 power play opportunities. You dominated possession, or at least time on the tack, for most of the period, and you still find yourself at an even score, and a terrific shot there by Leonardson with back-to-back opportunities in on Dylan Kelly. First one was stopped by a terrific glove save. Second one, he decides to try to sneak one through those long legs of his, and was able to do so. Only really had one place to shoot. Kelly was taking away the angle. Here's Krupp trying to get in behind Gavrik. Cut off now by the teamwork of Mattias Kasich.
Casey, you might have missed it, but Mattias Kasich just tried the Michigan move on the backside of the post there. He did it very, very sneakily, quickly, but it was impressive. He actually did get the shot away, but it was turned aside easily by Karpinski.
I missed it. Kasich has tried the Tomas hurdle between the legs move earlier this year, which that was not successful. We haven't seen anyone successfully pull off the Michigan or the Svechnikov, however you want to deem it. I haven't seen anyone pull it off yet in the FPHL, but the night is young. We're through 20 minutes here at Danbury Arena. The score is tied at 1-1, and you're shaking your head a little bit if you're Billy McCreary, and assistant coaches Matt Voidy and Bill McCreary Sr. are heading back into the locker room. You know, you feel like you played pretty well, all things considered, and you still find yourself tied at 1. And I tell you what, you're facing a strong goaltender here tonight. That couldn't be more evident.
Absolutely. Karpinski's been very, very sharp so far, limiting his rebounds, and you're going to have to do a lot more to beat him. I liked how Danbury put some numbers in front of him, trying to get traffic there, especially on the power play. They kind of stepped away from that towards the end of the period, and then that kind of allowed Columbus to get in their rhythm, and then, that, of course, that little shot there from Leonardson, just sneaking it through the 5-hole. You actually saw Steve Mealy kind of play towards the middle of the ice, kind of protecting a possible 2-on-1 pass situation, and it was just the shooter and the goaltender, and Leonardson won battle number 2. And if you're Columbus, I think you're the team that's much more positive about that because you came out and you finished the period strongly.
Well, we're through 20 minutes here at Danbury Arena. We'll be back in a moment once the ice is cut. You're watching Danbury Hat-Tricks Hockey on the Hat-Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for live coverage of the Danbury Hat-Tricks as they take on the Columbus River Dragons here at Danbury Arena. It's time now for the FPHL out-of-town scoreboard. Here's Jack O'Mara.
Thank you so much, Casey. It's all tied up between Battle Creek and Danville.
Wow.
1-1 between the two sides, so
You know, Battle Creek has been playing a lot tighter lately. Big fan.
we're rooting for them in this one. 4:22 to go here left in the first. Looking at the other game in action, Delaware Thunder take a 1-0 lead over Watertown, and that's a positive sign. Well, it's not a positive sign because Delaware's the team that's out looking in. They're helping themselves out. Danbury gets a victory tonight. They're in the playoffs. Delaware's officially eliminated, so we'll keep our eyes there as well. And then the final game in action, Elmira and Mentor, the home team, the Icebreakers, take the 1-0 lead with 13:10 to go in the first against the Elmira Enforcers. So something to watch out as well, another Eastern Division battle. So a lot going on in the Federal Prospects Hockey League that we'll have to look for as the Danbury Hat-Tricks look to clinch playoff position.
Well, a lot is at stake. As you mentioned, the Danbury Hat-Tricks magic number is down to but a point against the Delaware Thunder. So the Delaware Thunder trying to stay alive and try. They're chasing after the Mentor Icebreakers, who have been on such a tremendous skid lately. They've really hit such a rough patch. But now they find themselves leading against the Elmira Enforcers, one of the hottest teams in the league ever since they acquired Tyler Jurich.
Absolutely, and that's a confidence booster for the Mentor side. And you start to say, hey, we can hang with the stronger sided teams if we can play like this. Of course, once playoffs come and you solidify your spot, everything changes. It comes down to 3 games, and what you do in those 3 games, that's all that matters. You put everything you did in the season behind you.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're back at Danbury Arena as the Hat-Tricks now skating right to left on your YouTube screens. Wearing their black and orange jerseys are tied 1-1 with the Columbus River Dragons. Matty Kasich opened the scoring with a power play goal, which was answered by Anton Lenartson. Johnny Ruiz will field in his own end and send it up towards Phil Bronner. Back for Ruiz, who enters in. Ruiz trying to get around the defender. Backhand pass set up in front, trying to get around Clouston. Clouston with a good job to keep his knees on the ground and break up that pass. Clouston will take a swing at the puck as it's along the boards. Over to Gavrick. Turnaround shot sent wide. Rolls past Shinkarik. It'll be kept in at the point by Listmayer. Now Shinkarik out to Listmayer again at the point. Long shot off the end boards. Taking a step in is Gavrick. Trying to get around Liarakos. Puck pops out to Gerson. Gerson across the way to Graham. Graham on the right side has Listmayer in front of him. Listmayer down on his belly, getting around 2 defenders. Shot saved by Kelly. And Listmayer went for a slip and slide and went into the boards and came up empty.
And you see how patient Columbus was on that entire sequence. They actually had a good chance in front. It was Gerson, but I think Kelly just got enough on it to steer it aside and not allow any good opportunity to come their way. That's a good rush, though, and a good way to start the period for Columbus.
Here's Kostyukov, donning the number 26, evading Shane Morrissey, looking up the ice, looking for Bondarenko, and Bondarenko now back pass for Graham. His shot goes off a defensive stick into the corner. Picked up by Bondarenko, has Kugler at the point, looking to cycle it down low, taken away by Easton Oliver. Up to Shane Morrissey, has a bit of open space in front of him, looking towards the slot, broken up. Pass is sent back in by the Hat-Tricks, but taken away by Columbus. Morrissey unable to field that puck wholly cleanly as now Tuma picks it up on the right side. Tuma racing ahead, entering in with Bunnell. Taken away now by Graham. 2-on-1 the other way. 3-on-1 developing as Bondarenko is across the way. Looking for him. Broken up by the legs of Oliver.
Well, you can't play it more perfect than that. What a play, Easton Oliver. But once again, Danbury, Marty Tuma jumps into the rush.
Now a backdoor pass. What a stop by Karpinski! Karpinski reaches behind him. I think that was in the net.
I think so, too. The way that Kendall Bolin Porter was celebrating. The official, of course, on this side can't see it because where Karpinski makes the save, and unfortunately from our vantage point and your vantage point at home, you're not going to get a look at it either.
Karpinski reached behind him subtly.
Yeah.
It looked like he was digging the puck out of the back of the net. Bolin Porter had his arms up in the air, and ooh, you would love the benefit of NBC it right now. The net cam in front to see if the puck crossed the goal line.
And the official announcement from the scorer's booth down below has been the net was off.
Ooh.
Now, we do not have the luxury of going up to Toronto to check things out.
And nevertheless, I mean, I thought initially that Karpinski got a leg pad on it, and what terrific athleticism from Karpinski, but you'd like the benefit of instant replay on that one. Bull and Porter has Bunnell setting up in front, looking for him. Bunnell gets a stick on it, but not enough.
And that clearly was not in.
That much we know. Bunnell behind the end line once more, looking for Bull and Porter. It rolls off his stick. Mealy settles it at the point, turning around and sending it back in. Bunnell getting away from Santapalo. Out to Bull and Porter between the hash marks. Stick check by Hayes knocks it into the corner. Hayes hampered from behind by Bull and Porter. Up to Dimmitt on the right wing, who is able to escape from the attack from the defensive zone. Up the left side to Lennartson. This will go all the way down the length of the ice, and this will be an icing going against the Hat-Tricks. 3 minutes, 19 seconds gone by in the second period. So the Hat-Tricks with good early pressure once again, but unable to find the back of the net because of Cody Karpinski, and now it'll be an offensive zone draw for Captain Fallis and company. Fallis will be in the face-off dot.
And I think for Danbury, obviously, you think that's a goal, whether you think it's a goal, whether it was or was not, you have to respond. You have to keep playing with the same intensity, like the way they've started after the first couple of minutes.
Turnaround shot by Gerson sent wide. Another turnaround shot by Liarakos. That one's also misses the mark. Wonky bounce off the boards, almost pops onto the stick of Fallis. Now charging ahead is Steve Brown with the A on his sweater. Newly stitched on as the Hat-Tricks were able to get their captaincy letters stitched on. It belongs to Nicola Levesque, Phil Bronner, and Steve Brown, 3 alternates. Nicola Levesque also holds the special distinction of player assistant coach, of which there are several across the league. Jay Krupp has that distinction for the Columbus River Dragons, according to their website. You see that a lot in players. Joe Pace, who's for the Port Huron Prowlers, laces them up from time to time. Even Billy McCreary has laced them up for the Danbury Hat-Tricks as recently as January the 30th against the Carolina Thunderbirds.
You know, Casey, it's an interesting story because you wonder, it most likely won't happen this season, but when a captain will be donned for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, who will be the first named captain? And my assumption is if one of the 3 guys with the A's on their sweaters right now come back next season, I think Billy McCreary will make a decision.
Yeah, you always hear about how the team was kind of built around Phil Bronner, was one of the first players to be signed. As here's Bondarenko on the right wing. Bondarenko gets around Oliver. Backhander, he scores! Bondarenko sneaks a backhander by Dylan Kelly. What a shot!
Wow, he's been all over the ice tonight and just dipsy-doos his way around Easton Oliver. What a shot there, and just finds a little bit of daylight in between Kelly and that near side post. And how about that for Columbus? They score with the 1 minute remaining in the first. They come out here even with Danbury foot on the gas pedal, some good chances in their zone. They turn right back around, and Bondarenko skill all the way.
So a backhander beats Dylan Kelly under the left arm. For Bondarenko, that is his 20th goal of the season. Yet another 20-goal scorer for the Columbus River Dragons. That is now their 5th 20-goal scorer up and down their roster.
Time of the goal, 4:44. That's Columbus's Bondarenko.
Kostyukov will get the primary assist on the goal, and that is Kostyukov's first point as a member of the Columbus River Dragons. Kostyukov came into this game with 5 assists to his name. Well, now he's got 1 as a member of the white, black, teal, and maroon. Faceoff will be down towards Cody Karpinski, as now the Hat-Tricks find themselves trailing. Really for the first time in quite some time.
Yeah.
They didn't trail against the Delaware Thunder in either of the last 2 weekends, and didn't find themselves really trailing at any point against the Carolina Thunderbirds as well. So it's been some time since the Hat-Tricks have had to play from behind, especially on home ice. The only team that's beaten the Danbury Hat-Tricks in regulation on home ice has been the Elmira Enforcers.
And I think that's the craziest stat or fact about this season for Danbury is, yet we all know how well that they've played, but I mean, you have to go back to the first couple of weeks when Port Huron beat them and it brought back-to-back overtime games, and then it's really only been Elmira that's come into this building and has had their way with Danbury. The rest of the teams have had a very difficult time playing in this building, and that's a mindset of this team, is protect our house. That's the most important thing when you play on this ice, is to protect this house. And they do a good job of that.
Anderson wins the foot race and beats the icing as he goes into the corner against Edgar Zozelinch. Coming away with it is Dimmitt. Backhands it up to Hayes along the boards. Hayes takes a check from Bolin Porter. Now back to Dimmitt. Up come the River Dragons. Corey Anderson in front of Dimmitt. He'll skate to his left, trying to get around Anderson. Gets a shot off, and this will be a paddle save by Kelly, and he holds. 5 minutes, 45 seconds gone by here in the second period.
You see how Dylan Kelly responds after a couple of goals that get by him. Obviously, the 5-hole goal off the stick of Leonardson was one that he's going to want back. And then this one, I mean, you have to give all the credit for Bondarenko. He does so well to get some space from Oliver, and then just the backhanded shot so perfectly placed. Such a difficult shot to pull off, and Kelly's probably shaking his head saying, how the heck did that get by me?
As a shot gets redirected off the glass, lively bounce out in front, and that one gets steered aside by Vlad Gavrik. Now up in transition come the hat-tricks. Ruiz rifles it into the padding of Cody Karpinski, and he holds on to it. Karpinski doesn't allow a whole lot of rebounds. Granted, that's not one that he should allow. I mean, that's from the neutral zone, but just in a general sense, Karpinski does a great job of receiving the puck into his padding.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we were looking for. Obviously, we've seen him a couple of times this season, and time in and time out, I mean, he's so strong. You just see how well he collapses down onto the puck.
Oh, goodness. Taking a swing at it with his leg is Vlad Gavrik, looking like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football. Went tumbling down onto his back. That's one for the blooper reel for Mr. Gavrik. Into the corner it goes. Kissing it off the glass, pawing it down is Listmayer. Skates backwards. The active stick of Lirakos pokes it towards Kelly, and Listmayer will settle things down once more in his own corner. Sending it up the wing to Levesque. Quick passing out to Shinkarik. Shinkarik with Bronner with him. Shinkarik to the backhand. His shot stripped from behind by Clouston.
Wow, what a play. Falling down, just sticks his stick backwards and makes a smart play there. What great awareness for Clouston. Even though he's beat on the play, keeps his stick on the ice.
Here's Kasich with a setup. Now Shinkarik, a shot sent wide.
And Morrissey, too, on the far side.
He was waiting for it. Here's Shinkarik, as losing his footing was Krupp. Kasich out to Shinkarik. Shinkarik winds and fires up into the netting. And Shinkarik pulling the trigger a couple times, and you can tell he's a bit frustrated. He comes back shaking his head.
Well, he gets the puck twice from Matthias Kasich. Both pinpoint accurate passes, and the first time he could have passed it. I don't mind him taking that shot, but he had options there. The second time, another good shooting attempt, just forces it wide. And I mean, Kasich's had a really good night so far. Obviously, the lone goal for the hat-tricks was moving the puck well, skating well. I like this line here. You obviously don't want to split up Shinkarik and Morrissey just because of how well they've been playing together. And we really didn't talk about how much losing Casper Dierson over the last couple of games has hurt the hat-tricks, too.
That's true. Kasich on the wing replacing Casper Dierson, who is a scratch tonight. And as mentioned, Kasich has kind of been the Johnny on the spot, playing on a lot of lines. As here he is in the far side corner, looking across the way for Morrissey. Pad saved by Karpinski. Morrissey fields, has Krupp on him. Morrissey, as a man in the point in Easton Oliver, has the puck stripped away from him and lifted up into the neutral zone. Oliver will bat it back towards Kugler. Oliver seeing his minutes increase. 7 defensemen were ready to go, and Thomas Freeman a late scratch for the Danbury Hat-Tricks as we await his return back from a lower body injury that has kept him out of the lineup since January 11th. Tuma winds and fires. That's a stick save by Karpinski. Now Bonnell has Anderson lurking at that far side post. Anderson will go to retrieve the puck, has Oliver behind him, finds him. Mealy over the boards, joins the action. Long shot gets through some legs. Bonnell behind the net now with Anderson in front. Bonnell looking for Anderson. His stick was tied up. Good play by Kugler.
Yeah, Kugler's been in some good spots right there in the slot area, holding off Corey Anderson enough. And Danbury trying that one pass that's going to make or break the offensive push. And once again, Columbus's defense bends, doesn't break, holds on to that lead.
Bolin Porter with a good job to tie up the puck, forces Santapalo back. Santapalo will play it back to Lennartson. Now up the left wing to Dimmitt. Dimmitt lifts it up into the air and it will go back towards Dylan Kelly. Kelly out of his net, yawning, net mouth. Oh, getting a piece of it, Dylan Kelly. Was it him or Steve Brown? Nevertheless, the puck is out of the net, and we get a stoppage in play.
Wow, I do not know how that puck doesn't get in. Kelly, we mentioned it in the first period, how aggressive he was out of his cage. He takes forever to get back here, and I'm not sure it was Cameron Dimmitt who pulls the trigger, and I don't know how that puck doesn't find the back of the net. I think you're right, Casey. I think Steve Brown might have had a piece of it, and Kelly on the follow-up. But that is a yawning cage, and DeMitt couldn't hit it. And Kelly not as sure-handed as he would have liked on that last play.
Mealy throws it into the skates of Levesque, unable to field it cleanly. Hayes turns around with it, has Dimmitt with him. Hayes to the net, kicked out by Kelly. And this one will take a lively bounce out towards the neutral zone where Santapalo will settle it down. Towards Kelly, and Kelly tries to, in turn, send it down. And the way that Kelly's took a swing at it was like he was wielding a cricket bat. Brown along the boards, forcing it ahead for Levesque, keeping it in his Clouston. Bouncing puck, once more finds its way over towards Steve Brown, who does battle with Lirakos.
Look how difficult Columbus is making it for Danbury to get the puck out of their own zone. They finally do, but good forechecking there from the River Dragons.
I tell you what, this is the kind of difficulty that Danbury hasn't had getting out of their own since, and pardon the comparison, since the Carolina Thunderbirds. And this is this River Dragons team shut out the Thunderbirds 4-0 a couple of weeks ago in a Sunday matinee. Here's Shinkarik with a long shot that's swallowed up by Karpinski. But it's that kind of neutral zone trap that they employ. Carolina plays more of a European style, as Andre Nietzsche, I'm sure, wants to implement, which is much more oriented on holding onto the puck. If you don't have a play, retreat. So it's all about puck possession. But it's the same basic principle of tying up passing lanes in the attacking zone that Columbus is implementing here.
Absolutely. And if you look at the last time that Danbury lost a pair of games at home was against Elmira, and that's exactly what Elmira did. They shut Danbury's offense down because they couldn't get out of their own zone. And that's how Elmira really, they jumped out in that game. They got an early lead, and they just took Danbury out of the way they like to play, which is a lot of possession time, a lot of high-flying play. And we haven't seen many hits from the Hat-Trick side so far in this game, Casey.
That's true. Entering in at the far side, Lirakos with a shot attempt blocked by Listmayer. Lirakos holds onto the puck behind the end line. Gavrik sends it out to open space. Fallis is the first to get there. Fallis taking a check from Gavrik, holding onto the puck, escaping out to open space, turning around and blocking it in front is Gavrik. Gavrik trying to one-hand it up the ice, now corrals it and sends it over to Kasich. Kasich across the way, looking for Gavrik, has it in his skates, on his backhand, sending it across the way, can't connect with Kasich. It'll be intercepted now by Columbus, and up comes Lirakos once more, lifting it up past Oliver. Backhander, that one got the knob of the stick of Dylan Kelly. That almost had him beat again, high side.
And he was looking for that spot. Kelly was showing it to him. He had that little top corner.
Morrissey trying to dance between a couple of defenders. Kostyukov and Kugler with a good job of running him off the puck. 8:45 to go in the second period. 2-1 is your score in favor of Columbus. Kostyukov from behind his net. Exit pass is broken up by Shinkarik. Tuma will hold. Looking up the ice for Bolin Porter. Bolin Porter crossing to Anderson. Has Bunnell in front. Anderson's shot! He scores! What a snipe by Corey Anderson! We're tied at 2!
Well, Corey Anderson has all day to get this puck off. Columbus has been playing the pass so well, especially in that zone this period. So they're all kind of sitting back, waiting for Anderson to move the puck. Gordy Bunnell kind of sneaks in on the backside, and Danbury actually gets away with a too many men on the ice call here, Casey. It was a sloppy change. Referees do not pick it up, and Corey Anderson rips this one into the back of the net, and that's a great way to respond after it looked like Danbury was taken out of the game a little bit, trouble moving the puck. Now they're back in it. They tie things up.
Anderson extends what has been a red-hot streak for him. He now is on a 7-game point streak. He scores his 21st of the season. Here's Bunnell at the far side circle. Back to work comes Danbury. Out to Anderson again, turning and firing. That one's swallowed up by Karpinski. And we have reached the media timeout as Bunnell exchanges words with alternate captain MJ Graham.
It puts a little bit more energy into the building, puts some energy back into that Danbury Hat-Tricks bench. And for Columbus, they're doing the right thing right now. They're trying to get themselves involved. They're trying to take Danbury out of the game, and I think they've been doing a really good job of that. Just because you give up the tying goal here, do not take yourself out of what you're trying to do. Keep that up.
So Billy McCreary will lead the timeout, trying to settle his troops. And joining Billy McCreary on the bench for the first time tonight is Bill McCreary Sr., Billy McCreary's father, signed as an assistant coach for the weekend, a former member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, played back from 1980 to 1988 professionally across the NHL, the IHL, had a very storied career and is part of one of the most prolific hockey families in the history of the NHL. You talk about hockey families, you come across, the Sutters, the Stasnys, and the McCrearys.
Absolutely, and you almost wonder, who's having more fun down there on that bench. Is it senior or junior? The fact that Billy gets to coach with his dad and has him alongside him on this bench, it kind of shows off what he's done here in Danbury in his first season as the head coach here. And you have to only imagine what Bill McCreary Sr. feels like right now, to be able to see his son do this and be able to coach alongside it. I know that must feel really, really special for both of them.
Cycling it down low behind the end line. Steve Brown will keep it in. Brown to Bolin Porter. Evades a stick check. Bolin Porter crossing the way, goes off a defensive stick. Mealy to the net, picks the corner. That one caught the crossbar. Mealy bouncing puck out in front. Anderson gets a stick on it. Now Anderson turning around for the sharp angle and getting a piece of it is Karpinski. He holds on to it against his right arm, crossing his glove hand. 7:34 to go in the second period.
And you're seeing a lot more movement from the Hat-Tricks now over the last couple of shifts in this zone, and you see how deeper and deeper Columbus has gotten in their own zone. They're trying to protect that goal crease area. Karpinski, again, hanging in there, fighting off every rebound opportunity. He's just swallowing up the puck so well in this game, but Danbury starting to build.
Levesque with a shot off the faceoff gets sent high. Now taking a step in is Kenny Garrett, his first shift since the first period. Pitchforking it up into the air. Swiping at it is Gavrik. It trickles by him. Ruiz will settle as Follis aggressively in on the forecheck. Down to its Karpinski. He paddles it ahead. It'll be taken by Clouston. Oh, let's go Hat-Tricks chant up from the crowd. As Clouston has Levesque waiting for him to make the first move. Now Clouston will maneuver it to his left. Up now to Gerson. To Lirakos. Takes a check from Garrett. Knocks the puck away. Levesque one-hands it ahead. Bronner poking it. Off to the races. Has Shapitzin to beat. Bronner throws Shapitzin against the glass. Gavrik trying to box a man out and get the puck. He does. Levesque spinning away from Follis. Looking towards Bronner between the hash marks. Bronner was tied up with Shapitzin. Out towards Gavrik, takes a step up. Gavrik kicks it over towards the bench. Morrissey over the boards. Gets it into Shinkarik. Shinkarik with a shot that gets sent high up into the netting, and we get a stoppage in play.
A much better job there for Danbury. You saw Mattias Kasich wait to play that puck. He was waiting because Danbury was still in the process of a change. A little bit sloppier for them, but you see the push once again, just getting in on the offensive zone. A couple of high-rising shots, and the energy's definitely back in that bench. You could see that now for Columbus. I mean, you have to find a way to get things out, start to block some shots, and they're not having their way through the neutral zone right now. Danbury's done a much better job at getting back, not letting odd man rushes go back the other way.
Well, the tides have kind of turned since that goal, because Columbus put together several successive dominant defensive shifts, and now they find themselves pinned as Shinkarik redirects one just wide. Shinkarik out there with a new twig. He came back after that shot went up into the netting and hurled his stick into the tunnel and got a new one. Unsure if it was broken or he was just dissatisfied, as there's Krupp with a shot between the hash marks and it gets deflected up into the netting.
I'll tell you what, Marty Tuma does not look like he's missed time at all. I mean, he's missed a considerable amount of time. His shifts are shorter. He's not taking as many, and that's the luxury of having all these defenders back and playing, but he's been very active with his stick, eager to get involved in the offensive rush. And once again, puck's turned over in the Danbury zone. He steps right up and forces that block shot.
Anderson one-hands the puck away. Over to Lennartson along the board, sends it down low. Here's Hayes. Deaking trying to get away from Steve Brown, wiring it across the way. It's past his intended target. Once more sending it towards Dylan Kelly, and he gloves it down. Getting back to Martin Tuma, Jack, you say it doesn't look like he's missed a step. Doesn't that really sum up his entire season? Because he hadn't played professional hockey, really hadn't skated since 2016, when he last played for the Danbury Titans in the FPHL and made the Commissioner's Cup final with that team. And here he is coming out of retirement 3 years later. Hasn't looked like he's missed a beat.
Absolutely. He was part of one of the second wave of additions. We saw the Aaron Atwell addition.
Oh my, and a setup in front is now bouncing around in the blue paint and taking it away as Danbury. That play started because the puck hopped off the linesman. Now racing ahead is Bunnell. And Bunnell with a turnaround pass looking for Anderson. Will hold that thought, Jack. Because the helter-skelter bounces around here. Force you on your toes. Here's Hayes protecting the puck from Bolin Porter. Looking across the way to Kostyukov as we reach the final 5 minutes of the second period. Bouncing puck is settled down by Mealy, and he'll deliberately skate over by the Columbus bench. Backhanded up to Bolin Porter. Bolin Porter up to Mealy. Has a stick in his feet. Mealy with a shot that's saved by Karpinski. And what a tricky play that is for Mealy, as he has not only a defender in front of him, but Kostyukov's stick in his legs.
It's practically skating and stick handling around two different sticks. It really was. And one, despite.
It's like a drill.
It really is. And one's not in somebody's hands, but you still have to work around that. That becomes an issue and a factor, but that's what Columbus needs to do right there. Take me out of the broadcast and allow themselves to shoot and fire away really at Dylan Kelly, because they've had a couple of greasy goals, ones that kind of sneak by the strong goaltender, and that's exactly what they need to get themselves back in this game. Keep firing it on net, go those explosive scoring chances.
Ruiz looks to the net. That's a shot saved by Karpinski, and he holds. As Levesque throws a couple of butt ends over towards Fallis, and now we get some pushing and shoving as coming over to introduce himself to Levesque is Edgar Zozelinch.
So as I was saying before about Marty Tuma.
Well, yeah, getting back to Tuma, to finish your thought, the reason why he's able to play so smartly despite him being 34 years old and is, let's be honest, after 14 years of playing professional hockey, your body starts to break down a little bit. That's why he was out. He was with a lower body injury. He was drafted in 2003 by the Florida Panthers in the 5th round, played in the AHL for several years, played professionally in the Czech Republic. I mean, the brain never leaves you. It's always just your body that eventually deteriorates. But honestly, he's still got some gas in the tank.
He does, and you just see he wants to be here. I mean, he's doing everything that he can to take those couple of weeks and get himself healthy, but he wants to play because he knows, I think he knows the potential of this team. And obviously the connection to Danbury is still there, but he's really worked hard this season, come back and played a strong game so far.
Behind the net it goes. Gavrik out of his reach. Kasich ties a man up. That was Fallis as he collided with him. Chase Fallis turning around and sharing his displeasure with Matthias Kasich verbally. Lifted up towards the end boards, and Cruz Listmayer will chase. Listmayer, another player with NHL connections on this Hat-Tricks team, the nephew of Colton Orr, former Ranger defenseman. Out to Morrissey in the slot. Morrissey has Kasich between the hash marks. Shot save. Rebound score! Matthias Kasich, right place, right time. 3-2 Hat-Tricks.
Well, Kasich's going to get credit for the goal, but all the credit in the world has to go to Shane Morrissey, just doing his stick handling on the far side. Stick handling, finally gets a little crease and just throws it to the front of the net. And we mentioned all day long, Karpinski so sharp, no rebounds. All of a sudden, this one pops out, and guess what? Matthias Kasich, who's had so many great chances in this game, such great positioning in this game, right there, as you said it, Casey, right place, right time, buries it in. And just like that, the Hat-Tricks turn a 2-1 deficit, which they look flat, they look deflated, into a 3-2 lead, where they're back in control of this game.
3.5 to go in the second period. It will be a penalty being assessed towards Danbury. So Columbus will have a chance to answer back as a cross-check is going against Easton Oliver, number 6. Matthias Kasich will tally his 15th goal of the season. Carter Shinkarik and Shane Morrissey will get the 2 assists on the play. And, you know, jump-starting that goal as well, Jack, was Cruz Listmayer back in his own end, because Listmayer had to quarterback the play from behind his own net. Listmayer is not often the driver of the offense. They often leave it for Shinkarik or Steve Mealy, but kudos to him. He's been growing more steady at handling the puck.
Absolutely. He's always been known as kind of the bruiser, last man of defense.
Cruiser the Bruiser. I mean,
Cruiser
that is his
the
nickname.
Bruiser.
That is his nickname.
And he's known for that part of the game. We've seen so much development. We talk about how Vlad Gavrek went from a great forward to now a strong defenseman. You're looking at Cruz Listmayer and his ability and development. We talk about Johnny Ruiz, how he came right in and became this all-star scorer. All these guys come in to this season so far for Danbury with kind of their style of play, their identity, and they've been able to use their success this season to grow that, and that's a positive sign for Cruz Listmayer. He was out for some time. He had to have surgery this season, so he's missed a significant amount of time, and that's a positive sign to see to get involved in the offensive side of play.
Minute 20 to go in this power play for Columbus as they set up shop in the offensive zone. Here's Shapitzin. Out to Lennartson. To the far side circle, Hayes has Brown in front of him. Cycles it down low. Looking for Santa Paolo in the far side corner. Shot from the high slot, saved by Kelly. Rebound bouncing around in front. Dimmitt gets a stick on it. Is forced over by the boards. Picked up by Kendall Bullen-Porter. He'll glide towards the blue line and now send it down towards Karpinski. The power play for the Columbus River Dragons comes in at 8th best in the league, 16.4% efficiency. As for the Danbury Hat Tricks, they have the 8th best penalty kill, 79.5% kill rate, but they do have 9 shorthanded goals to their name. As here's Shinkarik taking the puck away in the offensive zone. Bronner is lurking. Shinkarik fighting for the puck, taking it away from Kostyukov, killing off some precious seconds in this man advantage. Shinkarik has 3 River Dragons around him. He's still holding it against the kick plate. Now Krupp will escape. Krupp has his stick being tied up by Shinkarik. Up to Lennartson on the left side. Lennartson gliding past Gavrek. Looking towards the blue line as Kostyukov there. Gavrek using his legs to get in the way. Into the corner it goes. More board battles being won by the Hat Tricks. That'll do it for the power play. Taken away and sent back in. Gavrek. Intercepted. Here comes MJ Graham. Takes an open ice check from Bronner as he turns around and flings him down to the ice. Graham gets up and wants an explanation from the official as to how that's not an interference. He will get no such luck. Morrissey forced off the puck by Kugler. Has Ruiz setting the screen in front. Looking for Levesque. Levesque trying to pick a corner. Had no angle. Sends it high and wide. Final minute of play here in the second. 3-2 Hat Tricks. Morrissey looking in front. Levesque brought down by the stick of Graham. Out to the point. Listmayer can't hold the blue line. He sends it back in, and the Hat Tricks will have to hit the reset button. It hit off of Johnny Ruiz's helmet, and that will be an offsides.
Friendly fire.
And you could tell Ruiz had to rub his noggin a little bit, make sure he was okay. Listmayer gets an appreciative tap over to number 19, make sure he knows no hard feelings.
Yeah, those are one of the things. You're just in the line of fire there. My bad, bud. We'll get back after it, but a really good penalty kill for the Hat Tricks. Really the only chance that Columbus had was on the umbrella. Classic puck movement, get a blast from the point, and then the rebound opportunity was there, but it was just the quick play of both Kendall Bullen-Porter, Steve Mealy. They collapsed down, they forced the puck out, and then Carter Shinkarik spent a good 30 seconds down here in the attacking zone for Danbury.
That's
good
right.
job killing off some time.
Final 30 seconds of play here in the period. Bunnell loses the handle. Santa Paolo gets a stick on it and will send that one up towards the neutral zone where Brown will be back to pick it off. Bunnell leaves it for Bullen-Porter, who's been very active this game. Shot attempt goes off the legs of Ozelinch into the corner. 15 seconds to go in the frame. Getting to it is Gerson. Takes a hit for his efforts, gets it up to Fallis. One last chance for the River Dragons. Fallis trying to get around Mealy, cutting towards the goal line and holding strong as Dylan Kelly as he freezes it with 4.7 to go in the frame.
I've seen a couple times those left-handed shots in for Columbus, in on the right side, that glove side for Kelly there. Haven't seen too much from Chase Fallis on the offensive side of the game. Gets involved here, gets around a defender with a nice power move, and then just tries to tuck it in. But you said it, Casey. Kelly strong on the post there, keeps that foot there. Stoppage of play. Here we go.
Dropping the gloves, and away we go. Ozelinch and Tuma as Tuma gets bear hugged down to the ice. We'll welcome back to the lineup Martin Tuma. his third fighting major of the season. He fought in Delaware back in mid-January and also had a fight here on home ice against Watertown back on December the 20th. Tuma gets up and is jawing with Ozolinsh. And Ozolinsh, it looks like, is going to be, and Tuma will both be escorted over to their respective locker rooms.
Yeah, with 4.7 seconds to go, they get the early trip. They'll be back out to serve the rest of the time of 4 minutes and just over 55 seconds.
Well, the Danbury faithful certainly got their fair share of fights last weekend. There were 4 on Saturday alone against the Delaware Thunder, and one against Delaware on Friday night as well. For Tuma, it looks like it'll be a 2-minute power play being assessed. But will they call that an instigation, or will they merely call it a roughing?
Well, I'm not sure. They show the 2 minutes.
There are currently 5 hat tricks out on the ice right now, so we'll see what the official ruling is from the stat crew as we wait for the official ruling. Nevertheless, Martin Tuma coming back into the lineup and immediately establishing himself physically. I mean, it's good to see he at least feels healthy enough. 2 minutes for instigating is the call against Tuma, so for Tuma it'll be 2 minutes, and he'll also have a 10-minute misconduct penalty assessed on top of that, so Tuma will not be seen again until the late portion of the third period. Edgar Ozolinsh, the Latvian skater for the Columbus River Dragons, well, he'll just get the 5-minute fighting major. Into the corner it goes, and that will do it. Well, a bombastic end to the period, and a frustrating period. We talked about how frustrating it was heading into the tunnel for the hat tricks in the first. Now you're on the flip side of the coin where you've sort of irritated the Columbus River Dragons to where you've tried to take the body on them now. You're dropping the gloves, you're mixing it up with them physically, and now you've taken the score advantage with a couple of goals that I'm sure that the River Dragons are a bit frustrated that they allowed in the first place.
Absolutely. Danbury got their legs back underneath them towards that second half of the second period, and the way that Columbus had started, they played so strong, attacking, forechecking, everything was going right for them. And then that second goal, just kind of a lapse in the defensive zone. Corey Anderson finds the back of the net, and then Danbury gets themselves back where they needed to be. They got back to their Danbury brand of hockey, and that was the turning point in that period, that tying goal, 2-2. And you said it, Casey, we had the end of the first period, smiles on the faces of Columbus, the way that they fought, obviously, to tie things up late, 1-1. You come out, you start the right way here in the second period, and Danbury takes control of this game. What's going to be important over the next, 22-plus minutes of this intermission time is Columbus to say, hey, what are we doing right? That's our forechecking. That's staying aggressive. We need to go back to that because that was what's working for us. Danbury did a very good job at adjusting and getting themselves back in the game.
Hockey is a game of momentum shifts, and we'll see which way the wind blows in the third period. You're watching Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara. We'll be back in a moment after some on-ice festivities, and once the ice is cut, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for live coverage of the Danbury Hat Tricks on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara. It's time now for the FPHL Out-of-Town Scoreboard. Here's Jack O'Mara.
Thank you so much, Casey. 4 games to cover for everybody tonight. In Battle Creek, the Rumblebees now down 3-1 to the Danville Dashers. So held them off for a little bit, unable to hold them off all the way. There's still some time left, just 16:23 in the second period. So time to go for the Rumblebees, but Danville looking to take care of business there in Battle Creek. Across the way, looking at Watertown and Delaware. The Wolves have jumped out to a 4-2 lead, so Delaware, the early lead there. They're going into the second period, and Watertown holding on to that lead, so it's impressive. They're in good position right now, and things are tight between Elmira and Mentor. The Enforcers now with a 3-2 lead in Mentor, Ohio, so good signs there for the second team in the Eastern Division. And then the fourth and final game now that has just begun and head into the second period. The Port Huron Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds. We might see a playoff series between those two teams, tied at 2 apiece down in Carolina. Casey?
Well, it's certainly a monumental turn of events in Delaware as the Thunder fight for their lives and still trying to catch the Mentor Icebreakers. And the Icebreakers are trailing the Elmira Enforcers now 3-2, like you said. And with the Icebreakers continuing their slip and slide down the standings, it's so vitally important for Delaware to make up that ground, and they just haven't been able to get over that hump. You know, the old expression is they're just good enough to lose.
Yes.
And they keep falling in these close games. It's got to be so disheartening for them as they keep cutting just so close. It's kind of like, you know, in a different circumstance, it's kind of like what the Rumblebees have been of late. The Rumblebees haven't been getting run out of buildings, but they're just good enough to hold on for 2 3-goal losses.
And I think that's the most frustrating part for especially Delaware, because they're right there. They're on this longer losing streak, and it gets annoying after a while because you know you're putting up good effort. You're just not there. To be honest, I think Delaware, they're just missing a player or two, and then they would really be in the thick of it too. You look at the Eastern Division. I mean, Elmira, Watertown, they're contending teams. Danbury obviously puts themselves in very, very good position of looking to clinch a playoff spot. They're right there, but it seems like Delaware, they just continue to avoid getting victories, and it's important, I think, for them to not turn their backs, turn down anything. I think that they're right there. They're so close, and you know, next season is a season to build on. You say, all right, look what we did this year. Look what we had going for us. This is what we need to adjust, and I think they're right there.
Meanwhile, back here at Danbury Arena to give you a scoring update of how we got here heading into the final frame. Mattias Kasich opened up the scoring with a power play goal, which was answered late in the first, in the final minute of the first at that, by Anton Lennartson, who had himself a goal in the final minute. The Columbus River Dragons took a short-lived lead in the second period as Ivan Bondarenko took a feed from Igor Kostyukov and buried the puck backhander over the glove of Dylan Kelly, which was answered in turn by a snipe by Corey Anderson, a wrist shot that beat Cody Karpinski high blocker side, and then Mattias Kasich was in the right place at the right time to bury a rebound in the late going to the second period, and that's how we got here, 3-2. It'll be a power play to start the period for the Columbus River Dragons, as Martin Tuma currently serves an instigator penalty. So he'll sit out for 2 minutes and then an additional 10 for his game misconduct penalty. The first fight for Martin Tuma in quite some time. Well, he's been out of the lineup for quite some time. It's good to see him at least feel comfortable enough to take the body.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that, you know, your body starts to wear down a little bit, and you're not getting any younger with dropping the gloves like that, and Marty Tuma was, but he went after him, and we'll see what Danbury can do now on the penalty kill. We'll see if Columbus comes out fiery like they did in the second period.
Puck is dropped and away we go here in the third period as the Hat Tricks skate left to right on your YouTube screens, donning their home blacks with orange and white trim. A full 2 minutes of a power play to start the period for the Columbus River Dragons. They find themselves chasing one. Up the right wing it goes to C.J. Hayes, up to Lennartson at the blue line. Lennartson has to hold up, and Lirakos was a bit too eager to jump over the blue line, and that'll be an offside penalty.
Yeah, easy call for the linesman to make there, and kills off some more time for the tricks, and we really haven't seen too much from the Columbus power play. Obviously not as many opportunities as they'd like at the man advantage, but even with that one chance, we mentioned Shinkarik had such a good penalty kill all the way down at the other end, and just being able to keep Columbus to the outside. Nothing really going towards Kelly on the power plays.
Here comes Hayes up the right wing. Has Dimmitt and Lenartson out there with him on the forward lines. Shapitsin and Liarakos will patrol the blue line. Here's Mealy taking the puck away for Danbury. It goes up into the netting, and we'll get another quick stoppage of play 44 seconds into the frame.
Oh, this is interesting here. Steve Mealy throws this puck, and I think they're saying it might have gotten a piece of a Columbus stick because that goes right up into the netting there. That's close.
Dangerous. So perhaps getting away with a delay of game there is Mealy. Mealy out there with Phil Bronner, Steve Brown, and Carter Shinkarik on the penalty kill unit. Faceoff will be to the left of Dylan Kelly. Shinkarik wins the draw, gets it over to Mealy, crosses the way to Bronner. Bronner will send it up the length of the ice. Back to pursue will be Igor Kostyukov. Skates to the right post. We get a whistle blown as the puck was played by a high stick.
Yeah, I heard the whistle initially, and everyone kept playing a little bit. They're like, was that a whistle?
It almost seems like, did we really hear what we just heard? Is there a bird in here? So the faceoff will come all the way back down in a rare short-handed offensive zone draw for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Bolin Porter and Bunnell. Bolin Porter trying to win it back to Gavrik. It's taken away by the River Dragons. Kugler is staple gunned along the wall, taken now by Gavrik. Looks to the net, looking down low. Karpinski throws a stick at it, doesn't get a piece of it. Bolin Porter over by the far side midboards. Tumbling down to the ice was Bondarenko. Easton Oliver will settle it down, crossing the way to Gavrik. 40 seconds remaining in the man advantage for the Columbus River Dragons. So far, no shots on goal on Dylan Kelly, as this one will be cleared down towards Karpinski. Paddles it and aggressively sends it up towards the red line. It'll be taken now by the alternate captain, Graham. Graham has Bondarenko in with him attacking. Jay Krupp on the left wing. Bondarenko back to the far side point. Kugler, slap pass over to Kostyukov. Has Shinkarik on one knee in front of him. Crosses to Kugler. Down low Bondarenko. Krupp is setting up in between the hash marks. He wants it. Over to Kostyukov. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Kostyukov, quick passing out in front, and Krupp, it goes past his skates, and that will do it for the power play. And ooh, there was a yawning net mouth over on the far side. I don't think Bondarenko recognized that Kelly wasn't ready to make that save.
Yeah, Bondarenko wanted to pass it across, and Krupp wasn't ready for the pass either. He was turned one way. But you're right, Casey. If Bondarenko pulls the trigger, he's got a very good chance at net.
Forcing his way in once more is Graham. He's run off the puck by Brown, and Brown forces him down to the ice. Sharp angle try saved by Kelly. Backhander down on his belly and getting a piece of it, Dylan Kelly.
Strong save. Bondarenko goes forehand, backhand, and comes back to the backhand, and Kelly just stayed with him the whole time. You see him kind of jump and lunge forward a little bit, get big.
Now once more, here's a chance for Krupp. It rolls off his stick. And Krupp's stick a bit too bouncy here in the early third period.
He's got to be a little bit more clinical down in the offensive zone.
Morrissey kicking it to himself, trying to get around Clouston. Morrissey turns and fires, blocked. Listmayer at the far side point, looking towards the net. Deflected just wide. It looked like Ruiz got a piece of it. Now Morrissey once more at the near side circle. Has the puck, squares to the net. Looking down low, has Kasich on the doorstep. Kasich behind the end line. Clouston throws a check on him, and Kasich will pursue a loose puck. Getting to it first is the captain, Fallis. Settles it down for Shapitsin. Pops up into the air. Who wants it? Shapitsin takes a swing at it, and catching a stick up high is Morrissey. He's down. As Shapitsin looked up and tried to bat the puck away with both his hand and his stick, Morrissey looks like caught one either in the mouth or in the nose. Either way, the head athletic trainer, Amy Schneider, will come out and take a look at Morrissey. He gets back to his feet, and Schneider will turn back. He was being escorted out towards Morrissey by Matthias Kasich, and Morrissey expresses some displeasure with the Columbus bench.
Yeah, he was not happy. The fact that Clouston was just kind of hovering over him, looking down while he was in some obvious pain, but trying to get a look at Morrissey. I don't see any blood anywhere, so it looks like it'll just stay for a 2-minute minor here, but it's a tough shot up top, and see if things finally get sorted out. I think, is it Ozelinch who will go off?
Well,
I'm seeing 13 in there.
I believe so. Well, Ozelinch was there
Well,
for
he
the
was there
fight,
for the
too,
fight,
so the
yeah.
door is still open as they await someone to come over. The number
Oh,
24
no, it is
coming.
Clauston. That's who I thought it was.
As Clauston has to be beckoned over from his own bench. He tried to pull a fast one, and
Yep.
they'll never find
Oh,
me.
it wasn't me. Come on.
So it will be a power play for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, their fourth such opportunity of the evening. They're 1 for 3 so far. The power play goal scored back in the first by Kasich. Gavrick holds, crosses over to Bolin Porter at the near side point. Now back over to Gavrick, to the bumper. Kasich winds, fires, blocked in front. Anderson the first to retrieve. He's being run up against the boards by Kostyukov. Kostyukov and Hayes, the two penalty kill forwards, out for the Columbus River Dragons. Kasich turning around, trying to wire it down low for Levesque. Playing the cycle game, they get it out to Bolin Porter. Gavrick at the far side circle. Anderson setting the screen in front. Bolin Porter, one-timer blocked in front by the legs of Hayes. Taken by Kostyukov as he shields the puck away on his backhand, now charges up on the right wing. Able to slide it past the legs of Kasich. Bolin Porter will be the first to retrieve behind the end line. 1:15 to go on the power play, 4 minutes gone by in the third. The Hat-Tricks lead 3-2, looking to provide a little bit of a cushion. Here's Gavrick crossing his own blue line. Up to Anderson, dumps it in deep. Wrapping around, the first to get there is Santa Paolo for the River Dragons, trying to force it past Levesque. It pops up into the River Dragons bench, and we'll get a stoppage of play with 1:01 to go on the power play.
You see how strong Columbus has been on the penalty kill so far. 2 great block shots. That last one coming off of Hayes, I thought he's had a really great all-around game. Again, after taking that first period penalty, he's jumped back on the ice. He's had good speed. He takes that second shot block, and it's a good job by Columbus right now to force Danbury out of their comfort zone on the power play. Not a ton of opportunities.
Here's Morrissey on the left wing, evades the stick check of Graham, maneuvers his way in. Long wrist shot sent wide. Lively bounce off the end boards is chipped in by Ruiz. Quick passing out in front looking for Bunnell. Now out to Ruiz once more. Shinkaruk high slot. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Ruiz's shot is stuffed by the legs of Shapitzin, and he comes up shaking his left leg a bit. He wore that one.
Well, that's a third block shot here on the penalty kill. That's what you like to see. That if you're not going to get your offense going, play strong defensively, get in the shooting lanes. Great job right now by the River Dragons.
Some black and blue to go with your red and teal that's on your jersey. Here's Morrissey out to Shinkaruk. Looking for the backdoor pass. Bunnell, his shot blocked in front. That one went off the legs of Phil Bronner. There's a loose stick out on the ice that belonged to Shapitzin. Waning seconds of the power play. Retreating back is Kenny Garrett. That will do it. The Hat-Tricks now officially 1 for 4 on the man advantage this evening. Garrett up to Matthias Kasich. Crosses the blue line as Anderson to his right. Kasich to the net, swallowed up by Karpinski, and he holds 5.5 gone by in the final frame.
You just see the confidence right now in number 96, Matthias Kasich, on the puck, stick handling, driving his way through over the blue line. Just takes the wrister. I like the opportunity, though. Get Anderson over there in that slot area near the circle, and he was wide open. I mean, nobody picked him up. If Kasich just lays that one off, he's got a much cleaner shot towards net. But I like the way that Matthias Kasich's played tonight.
Absolutely. Well, he's hunting. He's got 2 goals here, and you can tell, wouldn't you love to get a hat trick here on home ice? We've seen a couple of players step up with multi-goal performances in the last couple of weeks. Vlad Gavrick had 2 goals from the blue line last Saturday, and Shane Morrissey obviously has made an impact. Kendall Bolin Porter picked up his first professional hat trick at the end of 2019. And the depth players for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, as they keep fighting for ice time as everyone comes back fully healthy, everyone still has to make a case for themselves to get proper recognition. Here's Anderson as Kostyukov to beat. Bolin Porter will skate in front of the net. Anderson has run off the puck, and he gets taken down to the ice. A good high hit there by Lirakos.
Yeah, he caught Anderson a little bit off balance and was able to lay him out, and that's a difficult task, too. I mean, Corey Anderson is 6 foot 220. I mean, he's got some mass to take down, and
he does. He plays a very up and down game.
He does.
He reminds me a lot of Scott Hartnell in that sense, where he will throw his weight around almost to a fault, to where he will always be wearing the sheet of ice on his jersey when all is said and done. Over by the near side midboards, Bronner and Levesque trying to dig the puck out from the kick plate. Rolling around to the near side corner, it'll be taken by Clauston. Vaughn Clauston will lift it up into the neutral zone. It'll be taken there by Lenartson. Picked off by Mealy and sent back over towards Dimmitt, who will in turn flip it ahead towards Dylan Kelly, who will stymie the puck for Steve Mealy. Errant pass is taken now by Levesque as he has to evade a hip check there as Clouston was cutting him off. Time the enemy of the Columbus River Dragons. They trail by 1. Long pass out of reach for Hayes. This one will go for an icing. And we'll get an offensive zone draw for the Hat Tricks.
You look at that last play right there. Danbury, a misplay in their own zone. Nobody in white to pick up the puck. Columbus not there to jump on the puck and make Danbury pay for their mistake. And then on the other end, it turns into an icing on Columbus. So 2 really not smart plays for the River Dragons. They're down by 1. You just said the fact that time becomes a factor now as it starts to dwindle away here, and there hasn't been much offense at all here in this third period for the River Dragons. They've been taken completely out of the game.
They had 14 shots on goal, Columbus did, in the second period, which was a marked improvement from their 6 in the first, but they've struggled so far to really establish their breakout here in the third as Morrissey's sharp angle try goes wide. Listmayer down low to Shinkarik. Shinkarik backhands it down low. Morrissey chasing after the puck. Lennartson is the first to get there. He'll shovel that one towards the blue line, kept in by Gavrik. Gavrik has it in his skates. It pops up into the air, and racing after it is Dimmitt. Dimmitt has Listmayer to beat. Listmayer is back to get there first, swipes at it, but Hayes keeps it in, has it in his skates. Open space to maneuver, ambles to the slot. His shot blocked in front by Shinkarik, and Kasich will force it out into the neutral zone. Leaving it for Gavrik. Gavrik slides it to Kasich. Kasich for the shot. That's blocked by the legs of Santapalo. Digging it out is Shinkarik. Has Kasich at the point. Gavrik down low. Shinkarik forced down to his knees. Still leaves it for Gavrik. Gavrik has his own man to get around. Like an obstacle course out there on the far side boards. Taken now here by Krupp. Krupp deking around Kelly, forced wide. Krupp ran out of room to maneuver. He had Kelly down a bit too early. Here's Garrett now, dropping it back. Here's Kasich, squaring to the net. Rings it off the iron, and up into the netting it goes.
Oh, yeah, he's headhunting, and Morrissey, a nice little drop pass, too. Kasich just missing that one, just a little bit too much on it.
And an audible groan from the Danbury Hat Tricks faithful as you could hear that ping all the way from up here.
Absolutely. They're looking for it. Obviously, they know he's sitting on the hat trick, and they want to see him get there. Really, really nice game for Kasich. But back the other way, you see how Dylan Kelly got down so quickly, and Krupp, who made a couple of misplays in the offensive zone. A huge chance there. He just doesn't have enough room, doesn't have the angle to pull off a good shot there in that situation. But he made an incredible first move to get Kelly down on his belly.
Virakos brings a man down. Here's Fallis. Dropping it back, intended for Kugler. It will instead be taken by Bolin Porter. Oliver in the corner of his own zone. Easton Oliver has also chewed up a lot of minutes. Here's Bolin Porter on the left side. Bolin Porter trying to get to the slot. He goes barreling into the net, but the puck does not. And no partial credit for bodies over the goal line. Sending it towards Kelly, and he'll hold on to it. Bolin Porter, Karpinski is fortunate he got out of the way there because Bolin Porter had his legs fall out from underneath him. He led with his skates there. You're lucky you don't get a Chris Kreider, Carey Price scenario like that.
Yeah, and there's really no way of stopping you once you lose the edge. You're coming in with that much speed. I mean, Kendall Bolin Porter picked up the puck behind the halfway line, the red line, and just carried it all the way in. And you're right, Karpinski gets out of the way there, avoids anything dangerous, and the net is really the stopping point for Kendall Bolin Porter from flying into the boards, too.
Levesque goes down. He ran into the arm of Vaughn Clouston. Comes up and shares some words for Clouston.
Yeah, Clouston's trying to get into the heads of the Hat Tricks a little bit. A little feisty play right there. Just knocks Levesque down. Levesque trying to plead his case there, but just not enough to call anything there. I like that Clouston is just trying to shake things up a little bit. That's exactly what Columbus needs right now, is just something to change to go their way.
Mealy to the far side along the goal line. Wrapping around behind. Here's far side circle. Leaves it for Brown. Takes a step in. Pitches it down low for Levesque. Levesque spins away from a hit of Dimmitt. Bronner now with the blind set up in front looking for Ruiz. Now out to Mealy with a wrist shot blocked. Levesque turning around and fanning on a shot attempt. Settles the puck down. Now to Bronner. Has 2 River Dragons on him. Bronner has Mealy at the point, looking instead to the doorstep for Ruiz. Ruiz was having his stick lifted by Shapitzin. Now up the right wing, Hayes. Back pass, Bronner breaks it up. Levesque in transition has Ruiz joining him for a 2-on-2. Out to Ruiz, high slot, wrist shot, pad saved by Karpinski. That was a juicy rebound that Levesque wanted, but a good job there by the Columbus defense to interrupt the play.
Yeah, but Shapitzin here was matched up with Levesque all the way, and that's a good job. Sometimes after a shot, you kind of lose where you are trying to find the puck. Instead, he stays with his man the whole way. His man gets to the puck, and he's right there to make a good defensive play.
Bouncing puck now in the blue paint. Toe save, Karpinski, turnaround shot. Bunnell is blocked in front. Ooh, down on the ice. I believe that's Ozolinsh. There's Ozolinsh taking his first shift since the fight with Martin Tuma. We'll have to amble back. No, he can't get off yet. He's still hobbling. Crossing the way. Morrissey slap shot high and wide. Listmayer takes a step over, trying to keep it in. It'll be forced out by Ozolinsh. Great play by Ozolinsh as he's finally able to get a change. Now Bondarenko cutting to the net. Has Kelly down off the crossbar. Inches away from knotting up the score was Bondarenko. That shot gets redirected up into the netting.
Wow, Bondarenko, just an absolute offensive unit down there. Gets Kelly down early again and just lifts the puck way, way too high. And you go back to the block shot by Ozolinsh. I think it got him right in the knee, right where the pads are separated. And that's why he was in so much pain, couldn't get off. But you said it, Casey. How about that find? Ozolinsh doubled over in pain, throws it across, two-line stretch pass, and finds the streaking Bondarenko over the blue line, and he sets that whole play up. Great chance again. Columbus has gotten Dylan Kelly out of position, I should say. They just haven't been able to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan Kelly was down on his belly, and we've seen Dylan Kelly get beat a couple of times, which is uncharacteristic. But Dylan Kelly has faced his fair share of odd man rushes and breaks, and they've come few and far between, but they have been prime opportunities, and he's done a great job of slamming the door. While we have a moment to breathe, we want to remind you to follow the Danbury Hat-Tricks across all social media platforms at Danbury Hat-Tricks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube feed for live game streams like this, as well as interviews, highlights, behind-the-scenes footage, and more. And be sure to join our mailing list at danburyhattricks.com. A reminder that these two teams will be back at it tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Live coverage will be right here on the Hat-Tricks YouTube channel, and you can get your tickets at danburyhattricks.com/tickets if you happen to like what you see. Out to the point, Kugler crossing to Kostukov, cycles it down low, wrapping it around. Oliver can't stop the puck. Lirakos takes a check from behind from Bolin Porter. Here's Oliver. Out to Kugler, keeping it in, bounces out to between the hash marks. Tuma taking his first shift since serving his misconduct penalty. Lirakos up to Fallis. Fallis trying to backhand it once more to Lirakos. Too many hat tricks in the way. Anderson not out. Kugler keeps it in. Redirected in front. Lirakos got a stick on it. Lirakos was all alone in front of Dylan Kelly there. Was able to get a clean deflection. That's a clinical play there. Set up in front. Oliver gets a stick on it, and it trickles towards Kelly, and he alertly pounces on the puck. 8:03 to go in regulation time. The Hat-Tricks lead 3-2.
And Columbus, the right idea there. Get the puck to the front of the net. Make Danbury defend in front of their own goalie. A couple of times we've seen the puck sneak by Dylan Kelly. Imagine you get a couple bodies in front, start to get traffic there. Eventually you have to think the puck will cross the goal line, so just keep throwing it there. And that's the biggest thing right now for Columbus. Keep simplifying. Just get the puck to the front of the net, and good things are going to happen. They need to keep doing that.
Brown up the gut of the ice, finds Nick Levesque, threaded the needle. Now over to Ruiz. Ruiz with a shot sent high. Bronner slide it down low. Taking it away along the boards, trying to escape is Lennartson. Hayes met at the blue line, one-handed in by Mealy. Now turning around with it is Hayes. Hayes has a 3-on-1 developing if they hurry. Here's Hayes with Dimmitt down low, looking for him out of reach. Dimmitt crossing the way for a one-time shot. That's a kick save by Kelly, and he holds. Getting the full weight behind that one was Clouston.
Clouston, who started this period with some jousting going on, extracurricular activities, took the penalty as he high-stick Shane Morrissey. Here you get the slap shot, and right there at the doorstep, too, was Lennartson. He was waiting for a potential rebound. Kelly does a good job to stay with that puck. Exactly that. You get a body in front, things start to get a little unsure-handed by the goaltender.
It'll be Graham in the dot against Shinkaruk. Graham has Krupp and Bondarenko out there with him as the River Dragons seek to knot up the score. Listmayer will hold behind his net. Loops it around to Bunnell. Bunnell jump starts the play, now up to Shinkaruk. Shinkaruk trying to split the defense, retains possession, has his back to the net, loops it around now for Bunnell. Bunnell is being worn into the boards. Here's Morrissey trying to dance around a defender. Krupp comes back to pick off the puck. Trying to keep it in is Listmayer. He does, once more wrapping it in deep, and Listmayer doing a good job of fielding the puck at the blue line and keeping it in. Entering in is Krupp the other way. More active stick work from Listmayer. Not out. Bondarenko, kick save. Kelly, rebound try, goes out to Graham. Couldn't get it towards the 6x4.
Yeah, puck just gets past him there.
Krupp keeps it in. Gavrik will field. Bondarenko aggressively in on the forecheck. Now Gavrik will chip it up ahead to himself. Carries it in with speed. Has Kostyukov in front of him. Gavrik with a shot that goes through the blue paint, but wide. 6:15 to go in regulation time. Bondarenko around behind to Kostyukov. Kostyukov up the right wing to Kugler. Saucer pass is broken up by Kasich. Now taken once more by Lirakos. Nifty play by Lirakos. Tries to get around Bolin Porter. Forced off the puck. Anderson has it in his skates. Up come the tricks in transition. 3-on-2. Kasich to the net. Anderson squares. Shot blocked in front by Kostyukov. Garrett, long shot, redirected wide. Anderson picks it up, tries to stuff it in on the far side post. Rolled off his backhand. Awkward angle there for 27. Now in behind is Gerson. Gerson. Lirakos is setting up in between the hash marks. Redirection in front. It goes wide. It hit off the stick of Fallis. Garrett down on the ice trying to tie it up. Fallis digs it out from underneath him, and up come the hat tricks. Once more, a 3-on-2. Bronner with Bolin Porter and Oliver. Down low for Bolin Porter. Kenny Garrett has to be helped back to the bench by the official as he has trouble getting back up to his feet. Lirakos drops it back for Shapitsin. Down to Lirakos. Kick save. Kelly. Rebound bouncing around in front. Forcing the puck off was Johnny Ruiz, lifting the stick of Shapitsin. Now up the other way. Here's Levesque. Down low for Mealy. That one will be gloved and held by Karpinski.
And take a breather, Casey. Back and forth action. It seemed like we saw the same couple of plays from Columbus. Back and forth, throwing the puck to the low pad sides of Dylan Kelly. Created some rebound opportunities, but you see how quickly Danbury was able to converge and just kind of surround the goaltender. Active sticks in that slot area right around the blue paint, get the puck loose, and Danbury backed away a couple of times. It just led to some blocked shots, and look at the burst of speed here.
Now up the ice, here come the River Dragons. Hayes has Lennartson along the way. Hayes is stripped by the stick of Mealy.
Great back check there for Steve Mealy.
Santa Paolo will hold on to it. 4.5 to go in regulation time. Hayes gets around Ruiz. Columbus now starting to tilt the ice a little bit as the Hat-Tricks try to hold on. Here's Hayes. Knocked against the wall by Ruiz. Bunnell gets it out of the zone, but Kostyukov holds along the Hat-Tricks bench. Kugler up the right side. Has bodies behind him. He drops it back to Dimmitt. Back down low to Kugler. Has Lennartson in front. Set up for him. Out of reach. Kelly gets a paddle of his stick on it. Morrissey turns around for the final 4 minutes of play. Morrissey takes a whack of the stick to his midsection. Now has it knocked off by the stick of Dimmitt. Dimmitt has open space as Brown was going off for a change. Here's Dimmitt with Bondarenko. His backhand shot is gloved and held by Kelly with 3:46 to go in regulation.
Dimmitt takes advantage of another kind of lopsided change. Listmayer turned one way and the puck was just loose. He was expecting the other hat-trick to pick it up. He was going for a change, so that's how Dimmitt came in and he picked up the puck, skated back the other way. And again, you see these left-handed shots. They're trying to go to their backhand on Dylan Kelly's glove side. It worked on that goal by Bondarenko. Hasn't worked since, but they keep trying it.
Bondarenko with a shot that's fought off by Kelly. It goes off of his torso and into the corner. Bondarenko once more keeping it in. Bondarenko has Graham at the near side point. Near side post if they can find him. Krupp loses the handle and Shinkaruk takes it away from him. Shinkaruk has Bunnell and Morrissey. Bunnell in deep. Lively bounce off the end boards, bounces towards Karpinski, keeps his pads on the goal line. Krupp entering in on the left side, has Graham with him. Krupp crosses the slot. Skates now with Shapitzin in front. Krupp's shot, that's a shoulder save by Kelly. Now out in front again, a shot saved by Kelly. Rebound bounces out to the far side circle. Kelly back to his feet. Now over to Bondarenko again, has Bunnell in front of him. Bondarenko around behind the net, looking for the wraparound try. That one stopped by Kelly.
Wow, what a sequence there for Columbus. Quick to the puck, quick to the puck. As Bondarenko as well as Krupp line is just working so hard to get these shot attempts. Kelly tries to go for one of those loose pucks, dives out. Hat-tricks are able to swipe it away. Matthias Kasich gives a tap on the pad there for Dylan Kelly. He's been fighting through a bombardment of shots, and Columbus overtakes the shot on goal category now, Casey.
Here's Anderson with Kasich across the way, looking for him. Kasich shot off just wide.
Now, what a stop there. Back the other way. Karpinski was sliding to his left, had to make the blocker save over to his right. And there you go, Anderson and Kasich in a time where Danbury, devoid of offense, they find a way to get back on the counterattack. The 2 goal scorers tonight for Danbury. Nice little passing move, but this takes away time for Columbus. They are working so hard to generate all these chances, and I would imagine if they can continue to build, we'll see a leash for Karpinski. A very important game to keep the win streak alive, keep the momentum for this team going.
A 5-game win streak is at stake for Columbus. A 7-game win streak at stake for the Hat-Tricks. A wraparound try, and they score! A stuff-in by the captain, Chase Fallis. We're tied at 3.
And you don't even need to pull the goaltender. Fallis using his strength. A nice power move around the goal, and it was a tough angle. I'm not sure if that had gone off the back of Kelly or not. It looked like he kind of banked that one in, and it goes into this near side netting area. And just like that, Columbus's rush and buildup over the last 4 or 5 minutes pays off. We've got a tie hockey game.
It has been the resiliency of the Columbus River Dragons. And so that's why they've been so successful of late. They have won 11 of their last 13 and their last 5 in a row. And they've done it against some of the best in the league. And 2:20 now remains in regulation time. If we do not have another goal, we will have overtime. Levesque entering in on the left side, collides with his own man and Steve Mealy. Levesque loses his stick. He now trails the play. Here's Bondarenko entering in, drops it back for Graham. Graham looking for the pass for Bondarenko. His stick was being lifted by Brown, and that will rattle out of the zone. As Shapitzin crosses now to Clouston. Here's Steve Brown in the corner, up to Bronner. Bronner with a big flip pass, looking for Levesque, gloved down by Clouston. A Let's Go Hat-Tricks chant up from the crowd as Hayes trying to get around Listmeyer. Hayes loses the handle on it. Listmeyer again runs him into the boards and slams him with his right arm against the glass. And you can see the whip of Hayes' head as now Hayes goes after Listmeyer behind the play, and Hayes is pulled off of Listmeyer before they drop the gloves. Hayes lost his bucket and has to go back to the bench.
Yeah, he was frustrated how long it took Listmeyer to get up off of him. The hit was clean, and then it was just the extra stuff that Listmeyer was kind of laying on top of him.
Gerson with a turnaround shot that goes wide. Dimmitt was there. He was lurking at that far side post. Final minute of regulation time. Both teams are in need of just a point to clinch the playoffs. Here's Morrissey trying to get the puck towards the net. It's instead flipped out to the neutral zone. Oliver hits it off the wall. Karpinski settles it down. 40 seconds to go. Graham off the boards trying to get past Tuma. Tuma's knocked down to his knees. Out to the neutral zone it goes. Bronner is tied up by Kugler. Sends it back towards Kostyukov. Up the left wing it goes, entering in the waning seconds of regulation time. Graham throws a check on Oliver. Loose puck, taken by Gerson. Stick check by Oliver, pokes out to the circle. Bolin Porter ties a man up. 10 seconds to go in regulation. This one will be sent all the way back down towards Karpinski. It will cross the end line, and we will have one last offensive zone faceoff for Columbus in regulation time.
We'll see if they get aggressive here and pull. Karpinski doesn't look like he'll come to the bench. Could be an option here for Columbus, but
you still have too much time, I think, for someone to win the faceoff and send it down.
It's definitely something that they could consider, but the way that they've been playing, they don't necessarily need the goaltender pulled.
Anderson and Graham in the dot. Graham wins it, gets it to Bondarenko. They have to shoot. Shot blocked by Anderson, and that will do it. To overtime we go, as the Hat-Tricks and River Dragons go into extra time. It's the second time in the last 3 weeks that we've seen overtime here at the Danbury Arena. It was a shootout on January the 30th against the Carolina Thunderbirds. It was the first overtime home victory for the Hat-Tricks, which brings their overtime record on home ice to 1-2 on the year. They had 2 overtime losses opening weekend to Port Huron. What a turn of events this has been. This has really been, it almost feels like every 10 minutes, momentum completely swings in the pendulum style.
Absolutely, Casey. This game has been very exciting to watch because you never quite know who's going to come out, and I think overtime serves this game justice because just the way that Danbury was able to control the back half of that second period. They kind of came in a little bit lackadaisical here in the third, not a ton of emphasis on their offensive part of their game, and they have allowed Columbus to work back into this game. It's been back and forth, back and forth. It's the kind of hockey game that if you like tight games, this is perfect, right in your wheelhouse, and now we'll have an exciting 3-on-3 overtime period for 5 minutes, and if the score holds, we'll go to a shootout.
Well, also, this is a monumental overtime for both teams because now both teams have officially clinched a playoff spot.
Yep.
The Battle Creek Rumblebees have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. And while the Delaware Thunder have not been officially eliminated, it does mean that the Danbury Hat-Tricks have officially secured their spot in the playoffs. So we'll get 3-on-3, and we'll get a chance for creativity. Who do you see as an X factor here in extra time, Jack?
Well, I liked Matthias Kasich all night long, and I think that him being on the ice is going to be important in this game. He's got skill, he's got speed, and you know that he's feeling great offensively. I think that he's going to have to be huge for Danbury. And as for this Columbus side, I really look towards Bondarenko. I think that he has had a solid game. He's been playing well in the offensive zone. I thought he had a really good third period, and it's as a result of all this, I think that he's important in the recipe for success.
Shinkarik, Morrissey, Gavrik, the three-man unit for the Hat-Tricks. Dimmitt, Hayes, and Shapitzin, the three-man unit for the River Dragons. Puck is dropped. Away we go. Which team will break first? We have 5 minutes of 3-on-3. If there is no scoring, there will be a shootout. Here's Gavrik, crossing his own blue line, red line, entering in on the left side, trying to get past Dimmitt. Gavrik, power move to the net. Skates to the near side corner, has it on his backhand, leaves it for Morrissey. Morrissey fumbles with it briefly and will be forced back into the neutral zone.
Yeah, Columbus doing a good job staying with their man.
Errant pass intended for Shinkarik, and he has to one-hand it away so Hayes doesn't have a clear look towards Kelly. Mealy over the boards will replace Gavrik. Morrissey breaking in. Morrissey to the net. Toe save, Karpinski.
Wow, great read on the play for Morrissey. Picks this puck off. Kind of a telestrated play in the neutral zone for Columbus. Morrissey makes a nice move, and then Karpinski, just that last second kick save. Really nice job.
Graham will pick it up. Graham is out with Bondarenko and Lennartson. Bondarenko and Lennartson are two of the three goal scorers for the Columbus River Dragons. As Graham will direct traffic, leaves it for Lennartson. Skates ahead in front of Mealy. Lennartson, stick check by Mealy, active play. Bondarenko picks up the loose change, it's taken away. Bronner has it in front of him. Mealy and Ruiz join the rush. Now Ruiz speeding in on the right side, winding, firing, blocker save. Mealy down low to Ruiz once more, switches places. Bronner in the high slot. Bronner will amble over to the point. Ruiz will cross the blue line, and the Hat-Tricks will retreat. Mealy goes off, Bullen Porter comes on.
You see this often. If you don't see much in the offensive zone, take it back over the blue line, get reset, use the entire ice, all this space, use it to your advantage.
Bullen Porter, back pass for Anderson. Bullen, Porter, Anderson, and Levesque out for the Hat-Tricks. Anderson's long shot blocked by Kostyukov, who's out there with Liarakos and Krupp. Final 3 minutes of extra time. Here's Levesque. Turning around, sending it across the way. No one's there. Anderson gets to it, whacks it back towards Bullen Porter. It's picked up by Liarakos, who will instead deliberately skate back towards his own end. Circles around. Morrissey on. Liarakos enters in, splits the defense from his belly, gets a shot off, and that's kicked out by Kelly. Now the Tricks have numbers. Here comes Gavrik. Has Levesque and Morrissey. Morrissey calling for it. Receives. Morrissey bombs away off the side of the net. Gavrik back out to the neutral zone. Entering in. Has Morrissey at the far side circle. Gavrik has space. Drops it back, looking for Morrissey. Evades a defender. Morrissey to the net. Blocker save. Rebound by Shinkarik is stymied by Krupp.
Yeah, Krupp does a good job there, just standing his ground and forces the shot off. Shinkarik was looking for that rebound.
Fallis trying to power behind Gavrik. Fallis has a man wide open in front in Shapitsin. Can't get it to him. Fallis will hit the reset button and glide back towards the neutral zone. 1:50 to go in extra time. On the right side, Shapitsin down low. Backhander that's gloved and held by Kelly.
Yeah, good little find there. Shapitsin just cutting across, and that's the beauty of 3-on-3. You often see defensemen go charging at the net like that, and Columbus
Anyone
has had
can be the hero.
Yeah, Columbus has had success in that department as well, getting defenders in front of the net. So really like what I've seen so far for them to respond after they had a good chance. Liarakis goes to the front of the net. He gets tripped up a little bit, and that Danbury Hat-Tricks use that 3-on-2 to try to push it back the other way, but gets stymied.
Ruiz up with Bronner. Ruiz to the net. Shot save. Rebound. Bronner had his stick tied up. Bronner gets a shot off save. Karpinski. Another try. Another stop. Karpinski. He got the knob of his stick on it. Now up here a 2-on-1. Here's Hayes with Lenartson. Hayes shoots and scores. C.J. Hayes picks high glove side. And the River Dragons come from behind and steal a 4-3 win from the Hat-Tricks.
Well, Hayes has been so active all game long. He makes an early mistake in this game, takes a penalty that ends up leading to the Hat-Tricks' first goal. He makes up for it big time here, skates on in the 2-on-1, and we've seen this a couple times in this game. Columbus, when they have the odd man rush, they're okay with taking the shot. Hayes picks his spot and beats Kelly. A tough way to fall for Danbury in this game, unable to close things out. They had the 3-2 lead going into the third. Not enough going on offensively for them. Columbus allowed back into the game. They're the hot team right now. They pick up their 6th straight victory. And finally, we see another team to beat Danbury here on this ice. And it's Columbus. They do it in overtime, but they do a good job at coming back in this game, Casey. Very resilient effort from the River Dragons.
12 wins in their last 14 games again for the Columbus River Dragons. And again, they've done it against the best. They've done it against Carolina, Watertown, Danbury now. Now Danbury has to turn the page. Granted, they have clinched a playoff spot. You do have that to fall back on. But if you're Danbury, you now have to turn the page and hit the reset button. What do you expect to be the biggest change for Billy McCreary and company heading into Saturday night's contest?
I think the intensity from start to finish. I think that it was on and off tonight. There were times where it was incredible. There were times that there just wasn't much going on whatsoever. I think that for Danbury to play a full 60 minutes tomorrow night is the most important thing. I think that's what Billy McCreary will preach to them in the locker room. It's still a hard-fought effort. It's one that Danbury feels they probably should have had, but Columbus did enough in this game. They used that extra period to get that victory. They keep their streak going. They feel good about tonight. The silver lining is both teams get an X next to their name. They're in the playoffs, and fans leaving tonight will get to know, hey, we got another shot at this team tomorrow. The players get to leave saying, man, we were that close. We just didn't have it tonight. We should have had it. We'll come back hungrier tomorrow. Very important Saturday night matchup.
Well, I tell you what, Columbus is quickly becoming one of those teams to watch in the Western Division. They may be in the 4 spot. They may be trailing Danville at this point by 7 as we await the final score for Danville. This is a Columbus team that could really make some noise from that 4 spot. So this is a dangerous team to watch going forward. And Boy, what an exciting night here tonight, and we've got more ahead of us tomorrow night. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel right here at 7 p.m. tomorrow night for round 2 of Hat Tricks and River Dragons. That'll do it here from Danbury Arena. 4-3 is your final score, an overtime win for Columbus. And we want to sincerely thank you for tuning in this evening, whether you're from Georgia or from Connecticut. And we want to sincerely thank everyone at Danbury Arena who makes a Hat Tricks game possible. For all of us here at Danbury Arena and for my broadcast partner, Jack O'Mara, I'm Casey Bryant. Have a good night.